Wait, go ahead and talk.
Hello?
I got it. Okay.
Oh, okay. I was actually just sending you an explanation.
No, it's yeah, I just saw that it was because I have this headset, so it tries to go for the microphone for the output for some reason. So.
Yeah. It's so annoying. I was like, the reason why it took so long is because my OBS was detecting somewhere else. I'm playing with the NVIDIA broadcast. I don't know if you heard of this.
I've seen that.
Really cool stuff. It actually
Okay.
it let me make a actual like decent looking green screen without having the green screen, so that's a plus.
Oh, is it just with like the fade out? It like detects what's not in focus and it
Yeah,
makes
and
it.
you know how sometimes when people do that, it looks janky.
Yeah, and
Like
it's
this
all
actually,
flickery.
yeah, it actually looks
Yeah.
legit. Like,
Oh, that's
you know,
exciting.
yeah, right.
Technology,
I
technology.
love it. I'm like, come on, man, can you not? I was like, can you guys do it right? Apparently, they're using AI. That's the rave now. So apparently,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it's creepy what AI is doing. Like people are like, oh, I just saw this thing where you can take a picture, and if you're like, oh, I wanted to be taller, you could literally just drag like your upper body and it'll fill out the rest and make you just straight up taller.
No
And like with
way,
with a drag, if there's like a car and you want a
dude.
different angle, you can drag the front angle of the car and then it'll edit everything to like make sense for the angle. And it's like that's and like that too. It's like that's crazy.
That is very crazy, dude. I'm telling you, man. Before you know it, dude, we're gonna be everyone's just gonna be irrelevant. But
Just slaves. It would be the Matrix. It will just be like all like, yes, robot masters, you got it.
but yeah, man, thanks for coming on, dude. I got my notes ready. I'm ready to talk to you.
All
I'm
right.
excited. I
Notes,
apologize
right.
for not letting you
No,
know. I got so caught up,
you're
dude,
good.
because like I said, I got the new laptop, so I'm really trying to make content now. And I just finished the video, and I'm like, all right, I can relax. And then I saw your post. I was like, oh goodness, I forgot to tell them.
It's all good. I just was telling everyone, I was like, oh, it's the video is going to come out next week,
I
or
appreciate you
whenever
letting them know.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're relaxed. They're not. They probably were like, what are you doing? And I was like, no, it's this podcast, Yugi, and
Thank you, thank
so
you. Yeah, I'm so
yeah.
excited, and thank you for accepting it. I wasn't
Oh
expecting
yeah.
that. It was like almost like a drop of a hat kind of thing.
Oh no,
So
I as soon as I was, just like in your chat and they were like, "Oh man, your chat even was like, it'd be cool for a Fox Yugi podcast." And I was like, "Dude, I mean, I'd just been watching your podcast like the last because I watched when I think you had a semi-10 on, and then I was watching that, and there was a lot of chatter there, and it was very interesting, and I learned a lot. And then I watched a couple after that. I think you had Centric,
yep.
and then recently you had Jalie.
You said it right. Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, which I went and checked out her channel, and she's amazing. So
Legit, right? Yeah.
yeah, very cool person, very fun energy.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi. My girlfriend, she checked it out, and I was like, "This is awesome." She was like, "Yep, sub."
Yeah.
So the last couple of podcasts have been really cool. So when
Thank
you
you.
asked me, I was just like, "Oh, all right, man. Like,
Thank you.
sweet."
Yeah. I know, I appreciate it. You give off the energy of someone who wouldn't mind a conversation. That's what it's all about here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Cheers. Yeah.
Cheers. Yeah, you know what? Where's my water? Gotta have the
It's
trusty
my
water.
energy drink. It's my rain.
Oh, nice. Dude, those
Rain
hit like
energy
a
drink. That's
truck,
my thing.
man.
Yeah. I sip it throughout like a stream or anything. Just
Okay.
so I'm not like up here like, yeah, let's go.
I got you. Yeah, very chill vibes in your stream. Like
Thanks, man.
what made you say like, hey man, I'm gonna do this, by the way. I never got to ask you.
Well, I mean, it started with I've always had the like the camera. Again, I was born, late 80s, so
Mm.
early 90s. I had that big VHS camera on my shoulder.
Yeah. The big thing where a lot of
Yeah,
people don't know, you have to
which
put your eye in it.
into like a thing, you had to
Yeah.
carry that around. It was like on your shoulder, which that's its whole thing.
It's like a
But
rocket launcher or something.
yeah, you're always just like, I'm ready. You're that guy in the back that's like one of the big guns. And so I always had that, and I was also like a lot taller than my friends and stuff, so I had like almost aerial views of like if we were having fun. But I was always recording anything that I was doing just for the sense of like, what if something really funny happens? Like,
Mm.
what if then we have it? Or if someone's like, that was really fun, I could be like, oh, remember this? But again, VHS tapes, and there wasn't any editing. But I always liked the sense of kind of filming a situation for that instance that might be really funny. And so through that, and just like I really like making people laugh, and I really like video games. And so I was just like, well, I could try to put that all together. And I tried streaming on Twitch for a little bit, and I played Overwatch, and I didn't have a cam or anything. And I think I would go back and forth from having just the camera with no lighting, kind of dark. And I would play, and I played only Junkrat. Do you know Overwatch?
Mm-hmm. You're a
So
Junkrat main?
I only played Junkrat.
Offense and defense?
Like every time. And like I'd ask my team, I'd be like, I have a highlight reel where I'm literally going, is it cool if I play Junkrat? And they're like, yeah, I love Junkrat. And then literally right at the beginning, it's just 2 kills, 3 kills. They're like, go Junkrat, go. And then we like win. And it was just a lot of fun. And I had about 4,000 hours of Junkrat.
Wow.
And that was between, like the PlayStation and then the move to PC. I had a couple accounts just because that's, I don't know, kind of led to that, where I was just like, let's try a new account. And I would go on that. And so I had a collective about 4,000 hours of just Junkrat. So like hours beyond that with the game. So I really liked that. And people would watch and be like, hey, you're really good at the game. You have a camera, this and that. And I was like, well, and I didn't really take it seriously. And so then I stopped for a long time, and then started to stream on YouTube, where I just had Warzone. I was watching Dr. Disrespect, and I just was like, you know what? I love his character that he plays. I love that he puts on like a good time that you can just watch and just kind of either shake your head or watch and be like, come on, oh, yeah. And he gets that snipe, and you're just like, you know what? He is good at games, like, or whatever. So I really like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm decent at games, but the biggest thing that I liked is that I have fun with it. And if I'm not good at the game, I'll definitely play it in a way that I have fun, which I think other people either I want to try that, or they just watch me be stupid in the game. But I started doing the Warzone on here, and then it just kind of had more people come through, and that's kind of how it started. I started taking it more seriously on YouTube, and I didn't really want to go back to Twitch because a certain kind of audience that would come in versus the audience that comes into YouTube, vastly different. When
agreed.
It comes to their attitude and how quick you can kind of stop toxicity versus Twitch. I feel like it kind of just like around every corner there was just that next person coming in like, let me try this line on you, and you're just like, all right, dude. Versus YouTube, it's like once in a blue moon, and everyone's like, can you just be chill? And then they're like, never mind, yeah, sorry, bye, and they leave. Versus Twitch, they're like, no, I'm gonna keep trying. That's how my experience.
Right.
So I've really liked streaming on YouTube, but I think the start definitely on YouTube felt a lot different than starting on Twitch. And so streaming, I guess, on the two different platforms came to like feeling a lot different.
When'd you start on YouTube?
I guess YouTube would have been just about 3 years ago.
Okay.
But that was the first year I would play Warzone once every like 2 weeks and just kind of pop it up like it was a hobby. I just popped it up 45 minutes, just like, oh, hey guys, kind of practicing. Like my girlfriend would come in every once in a while, be like, hey babe, like, look, I'm out there, like running around. And so I try to make her laugh and whatnot. And then other people started coming by, and it was the funniest thing, because I'd be like, that's not real, that's a robot, like that kid. And then I was like, no, it's real people, because it just felt different. They didn't come in with that energy that Twitch does, where they're just like, blah, 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 blah. They come in, they were just like, hey, how you doing? I was like, doing fine. Like, I was so thrown off. But yeah, it was about 3 years ago, but 2-ish years ago that I started taking it seriously, where I had a schedule. I tried to make thumbnails. I tried to like get in the game, So
you came up with the Fawkes logo. I gotta ask you about that. How'd that start? How'd you come up with that name? I'm so curious.
For Fawkes?
Yeah.
The Fawkes name actually came because of my 4,000 hours of Junkrat. I don't know if you know, but his real name in the game is Jameson Fawkes. And so I just was like, you know what? And so my account on Overwatch was Fawkes, and it just at least the one of the main ones that I ended up sticking with. And I played only Junkrat. There was probably like 2 hours of Mercy because I had to, but I liked Mercy. That's who I started, Mercy and Reinhardt.
Yeah, like
But,
a real man, like a real one,
yeah.
a man of the people.
I was
I'm
like, I'll
telling
protect you. And
Yes.
well, actually, it was Mercy because I was like, I will stand back and watch how you play the game. Oh, you're dying. Oh, you're dying. And that's
Yeah.
how I played the game for a
My
while
man,
on
that's
one
how I
account.
started too. That's how I
Yeah,
started too.
you get to see the play field like a catcher in
Mhm.
baseball, which is what I was. I got to see everything. Like, oh, that's how you guys do it. So I did that forever. But yeah, Fawkes comes from Jameson Fox's character Junkrat in
Yeah.
Overwatch.
I'm telling you, I gotta dive into that a little bit. I feel like you can't appreciate DPS in Overwatch unless you play healer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when you act, because I remember like it was yesterday, the first time I picked up DPS. It was Soldier 76, and I was like, "You guys really can't do this." Because I'm
like come on, man,
come on, you know what I mean? Like, and I can
like,
talk
help
it
me
because
out.
they would, they would see my profile and they'll see, like multiple seasons of me playing, Zenyatta, a lot of Lucio, a lot of Mercy. So
I
they'll be
love the
like, okay, so
Lucios.
yeah, Lucio's amazing. So they'd be
Love
like,
that.
okay, this cat might not be a good DPS, but I'm like, this is actually not that hard. Like, come on, guys, like get with
I
the
mean,
program. And then I'm always getting yelled at to heal them. And it's like you're not playing right.
That's a team thing. Like
Right.
if you're not playing cohesion, you either have to be so godly that you can carry the team as one character, or you need to get with it and read the room and figure your place. But yeah, that switch from healer to like DPS, yeah, then you're like, guys, like I've killed 3 people, like can you help me out like a little bit? Or seeing the healers in trouble, and as the DPS you run over going like, I know how it is, I got you, and you like get in there like, I got you, and they'll be like, thank you, and you're like, for the rest of this match I'm getting healed. Like that's what I love doing. Save a Mercy, rest of the match you just have like power up boosts and super Junkrat.
Yeah, dude, I was like so hard stuck for the longest time, and then I hit like 3450 with Soldier 76. I was like, okay, guys, come on. Like, I know you can do better than this, because a lot of these guys, but I guess it's like it might be a console thing too, because I know they're not used to playing games that, have that type of like where there's roles and aspects. I think people just think like you just run around and kill everyone.
There's a more casual sense.
Yeah.
Even I love console. I've born on console.
Same.
Like, you know what I mean? But like that jump from console to PC, you see that what people joke about, that PC master race. And I think it's like when I was on console, I fought so hard to be like, it's the same, it's exactly the same. I don't know what you're talking about. And I would make the set with my girlfriend. We'd have 2 the same TVs and the same PlayStation 4s, and we would raid in Destiny, and we would raid for like 6 hours. We were like, see, how is this any different? And then like the moment I got a PC, I was like, oh, music. Oh, cool. Oh, I can turn this off. Oh, I can augment that. Oh, look at what I can do. Oh, I can turn this down. PC Master Race. Like, I was just like, oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, the console, when I went back to it, the movement, speaking specifically of playing Overwatch, I got right back into Junkrat, and I felt like I was like the slowest thing. No, I was slow. Because like the console controls, it just felt so much more sluggish than the snappiness of a PC. And that competitive level of being able to snap at someone versus like, having to thumb over and kind of like guide it. I felt like playing. Did you ever play Widowmaker? Just for
fun? No, not on console. I wouldn't even dare touch that woman.
Oh yeah, see, and I didn't. But on PC, I was like, I wasn't the best, but I could feel the difference, and I was like, I could never do this on a controller. Even now, I don't pick up controller for most games, to be honest.
I learned that real quick when I played Apex and I started sniping on PC. I was like, night and day difference. Yeah,
I haven't played Apex on the controller. I wonder, that's got to feel funky.
It feels good, but you're still limited. And then like I started playing a lot of console, and when Apex came out, I was playing on console. With the whole cross-platform thing, though, I mean, it's so unfair,
because of the mechanics of the like how they have to balance the aiming. and
Yeah, like it
control.
feels unfair to me. Now I know there's a huge debate on aim assist,
Mm.
which makes me roll my eyes. But like it's just such a clear difference, especially when it comes to like aiming with a sniper.
Mm.
That like yeah, I almost feel like at a disadvantage in that aspect. I would say, it just depends on the engagements, I guess. But
Right, like the hip firing from say a 999 or an alternator for a console controller probably going to be pretty
yeah,
on there. It's
oh
going to
yeah,
feel like butter, but like same engagement, but the person's 100 yards away and you put a sentinel in their hand and they're trying to trying to compensate. I mean it's a way different. And
yeah.
then same thing for a PC, you get that 99 with hip fire, that mouse might wiggle a little too much because you have that ability, versus the snipe you're going to be able to just kind of glide right over them and keep that line. And I don't know if you have the right the setup, but like not the right setup, but the setup for sniping is usually you have a large area to go as far as you want with the mouse. I see these people that play with like this far of like movement. I'm like, your sensitivity must be like a 1800 or whatever,
Yeah.
because like you must barely move. I literally have this much room, like more
Hmm.
than the width of this can, like, to move my mouse. And then I have a small whatever 65% keyboard, so that because I was hitting stuff because I was trying to move too much, and I kind of like that with PC you can engage with the game a little bit more. It's almost one more step towards that VR
Yeah.
experience,
Yeah.
because I don't I kick under my desk when I'm playing Rocket League and stuff. Like if I go for the thing, I'm kicking, I'm like, man, like I'm truly going for that. Not that I wouldn't for console, because I mean don't get me wrong, I was definitely the guy that was like looking around corners like with the controller. You were like, oh, that
Yeah.
doesn't help me at all, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that's just my immersion for video games.
Yeah.
But
Which
yeah.
you've been playing, you said your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming since you've been born. Like, what was your first console that you can remember?
The first console I had was the NES. Sadly, it's not the one
Nice.
that sits behind me, but
Uh,
it was another one. This one I bought from a shop in town. Luckily, I snagged it before. Like I snagged this when I was probably 15 or 16, and then
nice.
now everyone's trying to find one and stuff. So it's like I feel like, ooh, I got that real quick. But yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
NES was my start, and then I had a Sega Genesis, and I had those kind of back and forth, diving between the two, playing Mortal Kombat on the Sega Genesis a lot, and then the NES, it was obviously Mario, but it's like it was such a love hate relationship, because as much as I love it and as much as it instills uh nostalgia, I was like, you know what, I was never really good at it. I
Mm,
was never really good at Mario. As much as I love it and I find it iconic, and I have Mario in the system right now,
right.
and I will play it. I'd play it like tomorrow. But the point is, like, it's just funny to just go, you know what? I'm just not good at it. Even though I had it, and it was my start one. It's like I might be good at a level, and I remember all of it. But then eventually, even now, I'm like, still can't beat it. I
Wow.
should for stream. I should hook it up to the capture card and try to run it. So I haven't
Yeah.
tried for like 10 years. So it'd be
It's
interesting.
yeah, right. That's got to
It'd be
be
interesting
something
to
you
try it
do
out.
before you check out of life, man. See if you can beat
Yeah,
Mario.
right, right. It'd be like,
See,
I did it.
yeah.
But yeah, I started with those, and then my friend across the street had a PC, so that was my early start to PC, where I would go over there, and he also had a Super NES, and that
Mm,
was like Donkey Kong and Mario Kart, and I was just like, what? Like that, that was top tier. And then they also had Warcraft, and then later StarCraft, and I fell in love with those like crazy. Just that kind of top camera, and you control everything and you build.
yeah.
Really loved that. So I never really had a PC then, but I was exposed to it there, and then it kind of went to uh, the N64, and then that was obviously the takeoff point to immersion, because you were 3D moving and
Yeah.
as a single person. So that was like really that big base that started me to just never look back. I just was getting every next console and every game that I could play. I would try it and just either have my opinions or whatnot and play it more. And there are games that I played when I was 9 that I play today. You know, just I'll just jump back just for even 20 minutes just to sit there and just be like, yeah, and muscle memory or whatever it is. But yeah, I have all the consoles that I used to basically, except for the PlayStation 2. Yeah, that's kind of like my white whale. That's the one I can't find. Like, you know, I usually try to get my stuff at like yard sales or bargain stores, and you just find that treasure, and you're just like, oh, like I found a Guitar Hero guitar the other day at a bargain store for like $8, and I was just like, these are, you know, way more expensive. I like I told you, I found those PlayStation 1 analog when they first introduced the analog stick. I found those at my local thrift shop, and I was just like, yes, please. And somebody, even when I was walking by, some dude was like, oh, he grabbed, oh, dude, like he literally was like, yeah. And I was like, you know, you did well, when the other people are going, oh, and I was like, yep, got it right before you. Sorry, buddy. But yeah, so I try to collect all the old ones I have, and so I'll play any you know, Pokemon Snap, you know, I'll throw that on and just play the game through, and you know, just games never got old to me, just, and it's probably due to the fact that I jump around to so many. I don't ever just play one game, and I couldn't, not in one, not in even in one day.
Yeah,
even
I'm kind of like that too.
Destiny
Yeah.
raids.
Yeah, like I'm always jumping around, but I guess it's like, I wonder if that's a character trait, or I wonder if that's just what we've been exposed to, you know, because I've been exposed to so many different games. You have as well.
When did you start? Like, what was your first?
So my first was Sega Genesis. I'm a 90s baby. I was born 93. Nice. And yeah, Sega Genesis was
I was right I was right before that, 88. So like,
okay.
Right there.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, love those games. Sonic was my, instead of Mario, but I remember watching someone playing Mario and being mind blown, you know, wishing I had that, but I ended up starting with the Sega Genesis, played that. Played a lot of Sonic, a lot of some very unique games on that console. I mean, they really, I feel like the creativity was just at its max. Because you buy one of those cartridges, man, and you didn't know what you were gonna get.
Right.
Like, they really pushed.
And it was a full product. Right. It was all there. That was what they had. That was it.
Yeah.
Here's my product.
Yeah, and dude, we'll start ranting if we get into the way things are now. But
oh, dude,
you know what I mean?
Probably very similar things in the sense that we used to buy products, and now we are paying to be what used to be a job, a video game tester, someone that would be directly linked to the developer saying, hey, this doesn't work or this does. Now we're all paying the money to the company to test their product, and they gain the money, and then they'll go, cool, in about 3 months, that finished product y'all just bought will be there. And it's like, oh, okay, all right, wait, what? Like, you know, all of a sudden, well, what am I playing now? They're like, well, good luck. That's not going to be anything like the game that's going to be in 3 months. You're like, then what did I pay for? Like,
right.
It's such a weird thing versus when you bought, you know, Super Mario 3, you were like, all right, this is it. No one can ever come in and touch this game. No one can alter it. No one can try to change anything. If there's a glitch, that's a beautiful miracle, and that's what it is, and that's what the developers left in. But it was always a finished product.
Yeah. And you know, it's a company thing too, because Nintendo don't be doing stuff like that. If you think about it, like most of the time, 9 times out of 10, if you buy Legend of Zelda, it comes as packaged. If you buy the new Mario, comes as packaged. So I really do think that it is 100% just these executives or whoever's in charge making those decisions. It is not like, you know, I know they say that video game making is complicated. I get that. I get all of that. But it feels like, you know, yeah, exactly. Like, it just feels like nowadays that, like, they know what they're doing. And if you're a businessman, it's a no-brainer. I get it.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, fair play.
Yeah. Like, you're going to make
we're all willing to do it.
Right. And that's the problem. That's why it's exacerbated. I think there are exceptions to the rule. Like I said, I just made a video on 6 Days in Fallujah, and that game, early access game, right? It's based on a historic battle that Marines actually went on. Huh. You know, they actually had Marines that like supervised the development of that game, and they're looking for a full release on console next year, but they dropped early access now. Okay. It's tugging at my heartstrings, so I'm a little more lenient because I am really tired of buying these early access games. You know what I mean? So I'll give it a pass in that aspect because that game was supposed to come out. You ready for this? I think 2010. And it was crowdfunded to come back. Yeah. So
that's a comeback.
Yeah, that's
I don't know if that's
comeback.
a really super comeback or if that's a you're back. What? What's happening?
Well, the big problem was like the politics behind it. You know, it's a real thing.
Of course,
people actually died. Like,
of course,
and
you got to do that tastefully. You got to,
yeah, and you'll see in the video that I make, like, there was a lot of like bureaucracy involved with that type of stuff. You know what I mean? But we're talking like the Marines that were like in charge, who like lost their fellow Marines, were like, we need this game made type stuff. So it was like
it was gonna happen.
It had to happen one way or another. And early access, I feel like, fuels that development. You know what I mean? So
right.
Again, in that aspect, I'm a little more like, okay, I'll turn the other way. But some games are a lot more egregious. Let's be honest.
I think, and I think to your point that there's a purity to that.
Yeah.
Right. That type of crowdfunding.
There's good intentions.
There's good intentions. And we have to say it's good intentions instead of just like, oh, that's the way, because somebody looked on that and went, I can exploit that.
Yup.
I can go ahead and have someone's trust and be like, oh yeah, no, it's this, and we're crowdfunding. And the company's just sitting back like, you know what, at the end of the day, just slap last year's shaders on it, just make it perform the same way. As long as we get the money, they're going to buy it. Just make the microtransactions happen. Like, and it's just like, dude, you can't just formalize this. Madden, we're gamers. Yeah. No, shots fired. Yeah. See, I haven't played a Madden game in so like.
Do yourself the favor and don't. Keep it that way. I haven't either. I haven't had
any one.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid,
yes.
When I was younger,
yes.
And they were like the new Madden's coming out, I was like, when? I was into it. But like now, if someone was like, yeah, there's Madden, I'd be like, I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah. No, there's no heart in it anymore. No heart in it anymore. I'm telling you, it was, yeah. Like, and then when you said you didn't get a PS2, like, you didn't get to play like that era, or you just weren't able to find one?
I had one, and that was one of my most favorite times in consoles. And just, I remember just being blown away when I first saw it at a friend's house, but I can't find it now. And adding it to my collection to be able to play literally one of my favorite games, The Bouncer. I don't know if you even know it, but it was just a weird little offshoot RPG. The thing is, you could play 3 different people through the same story and see their perspectives. I thought that was so cool that you could play a game 3 different times and have that different perspective. And that, for me, is one of the best. And I can't find it. I can't get my PS Vita to like get a mod without worrying that someone's gonna brick it. Like, yeah. So I'm just waiting for that time that I either see it on like a Facebook posting that someone's selling it in my town, and I can just be like, oh, or what I love to do is go to places that are a little further out, where a lot of people are like, I haven't used this in years, I'm just going to give it to the local shop. And then they just go, okay, yep, it's $15. And they put on this, and I'm like, I'll take this. I'll take this. You know what I mean? Like, I've done that with Game Boy Color. Yeah. I was at a local town that was smaller than the one I live in currently, but I worked at a school district out there, and it was just, nothing was around. There was like one Walmart, and then like a strip, and then a 7-Eleven, and then the school I worked at, and just like, that was it. And I would go to the Walmart, and there was also a thrift shop, and I go there, and I found this Game Boy Color for $5 with Pokemon Crystal or something in the back. What? And they were just like, just as is. And I just was like, I'll take this. And they were just like, what is, okay, here you go. And it was just they were like $4.99. And I was just like, thank you. Had batteries, turned on, went to the last person that played it. I was like, yeah, I have that. And so that completed.
Holy crap, what a deal.
Yeah, but I had Pokemon Yellow. I mean, I only played, I didn't play any of the Pokemon after red, blue, green, and yellow.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I found that, and that was like a steal. And then I got like really kind of addicted, because that was early on. That was my early 20s. And I just got really addicted to that find. Yeah. And I started being like, you know what, I'm going to build up what I had. I miss those games, and I don't want to necessarily just play modded versions of them on the PC or something. I kind of want that old, like a vinyl record. I kind of want to blow on the cartridge and put it in, it not work at first, take it out. You know, I kind of want that struggle,
that feeling,
just to be like, this is how it was.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
Wow.
They have a modern version of that now because I thought, oh, we had struggles, but it's like, you have your own struggles nowadays with a game. Oh, it's bugged, or I got a bad download, or the patch didn't work. It's almost like the equivalent of uninstalling and installing was taking this out, blowing it, and then putting it back in. And you're like,
Yeah,
come on, does it
yeah.
work now? It's the same thing, just it
Yeah.
evolved to a different move.
Yeah, I had that. I have that problem with Fall Guys. I sometimes have to go into the like Epic client, and I have to like verify the game files every once in a while. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to verify the game files sometimes because it'll just keep crashing and crashing and crashing. But once I do that, it fixes it. Yeah.
Did I have illegal did I have illegal files on here? Like,
I think,
what was,
dude? I
like,
think
what was that?
I think that's what it is, man. It's like a because I know that like it might be, and to its I guess to defend it a little bit, it might be part of like how some people get sneaky with the whole cheating system, and that could be part of like making sure you're not doing any funky stuff with the files or something.
Right. Just like eventually the files get a weird trigger, they degrade, and then you just got to go. No, it's me. I'm here. It's good. And just go, okay, we'll give them back. I mean, there's all sorts of weird glitches and technology these days. Again, going back to, it was kind of nice to have console. It was like you dealt with that original problem, but then once it was in and playing, you were pretty good unless you accidentally hit that button that ejects it. And you're like, no, like you ever do that? You're in a game and you're I don't know, like dog goes by and kicks the cord or whatever. You're just like, oh my gosh, there was no save. Nowadays, if you like lose out of a game, a lot of those games will save you at the last save or whatever, but you didn't have that back then.
Yeah, it was. That's what I mean. Like, it's like they knew, hey, once this product is out, it's out. So we got to make sure it's polished, it plays well.
Heart was there,
and there was a lot of heart, and that's why I wanted to ask you about that PS2 era, because I feel like that was just golden era right there, man. Like
it was
the variety, the amount of games you played, like
what the game started to really look like then. The jump from that one really pixel to two, you started to have those smoother graphics, and that immersion really started to occur because you were walking around realms that were 3D and more immersive than say like Doom, which was first person, but you weren't. I mean, you were immersed then because you didn't know any different, but nowadays the immersion's so surreal. You have the curved screens that can really get your periffs, and you have the VRs that straight up put you in it. People are diving into TVs because it's so hard to tell the difference of reality. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
So it's just that evolution of video games too is what has probably always attracted me to them.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you were playing Final Fantasy X the other day.
Yeah, and that's another one that I'm
just looking at it holds up. It looks like a decent like mobile game that you would play, and it's like
exactly,
you know what I mean? Like, dude,
that's the technology. The mobile, the devices that we hold in our hands are just as powerful or more powerful, really, than the graphics back then. But like you said, it holds up because it's not like too far. Because if you look at let's say Mario, it just the graphics, and no chagrin to them, it's 2D, and there's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of motion, and there's not a lot of storytelling, but they did what they could, and we appreciate it then. When you look at it now with comparison, obviously it's like, well, this is way better and more immersive, and it's like, well, in comparison, but you're comparing two very different things stretched over a very long period of time. But graphics wise, I think some of the old ones, when I replay them, I'll look and do the same thing, and I'll be like, you know what, this could come out like today as a beta of a game, and people will be like, hash up the graphics and we're in. But that story really holds up, and it always gets me. And like you said, playing the old games like Guitar Hero, you were there, which rock on, thank you. And I didn't know how that was going to go, because again, it's I didn't know if that was too far gone from people's radar of interest. But I had, the few people that were there that were like, this is okay. And I was like, well, this is something that I just really like to vibe out on. It has nothing to do with score or anything. Like I've never tried to really even beat a score I've had. It's literally, I'll end the song as soon as the last part notes played, I'll hit start and skip song. I don't even look at my stats, except the other day when I had people there, because I was like, right, they're going to want to maybe see if I hit 98% of them or whatever it is. And so that was a lot of fun to bring kind of an old game that I would just play like in front of like a friend or two, to having multiple people probably coming in, which
Yeah,
was
man.
again with Final Fantasy, same thing. That was like a dark realm room where I was just alone on my couch. No one watched me play that. So it was funny to have people to talk to while I was playing. I was like, right, they're here. Right. I was totally, I got really quiet. I call it story time. They understand.
Okay.
I get quiet. They're just like,
Yeah.
he's going back to, old time, really reliving his golden years.
Yeah, yeah, it
Because
was.
they're younger. So they're just like, he's old. And, you know, you and I were considered older, I think, to a majority of uh, the viewers that come in, because video games tend to gravitate towards younger, just because
Yeah.
that's when we got into it. We were younger, so your audience, I think, usually starts out with younger people, and it was just, it's funny that we're older. I mean, the other day I was like, man, I was born in the 80s, and they're just like, ah! like what? And I was like, it's late 80s. I'm not like, I didn't
Yeah.
have like, flock of seagulls hair. Like, I was like, calm down. I was a baby. I lived through the 90s, but
Yeah.
say that I actually, was born in the 80s. They're just like, I get they were there horse and buggies around there? Like, what? I'm like, no, guys. Oh my gosh. So that's a lot of fun to have fun with. Again, going back to, streaming, and just, I try to set it up to have a lot of fun with that fact, because
Yeah.
I realize that with video games, we're all different ages connected by a very similar experience and feeling, and satisfaction to that art
Yeah.
with video games, which is a collection of all human art, music, visual art, storytelling, all of that comes together to make video games. And I think that appreciation comes through as a little kid when you're young, because it's colorful and flashy, and you can interact with it, and you're zoned in, and you can just do your thing. And as an adult, it's a whole different thing, because at the end of the day of dealing with whatever you have to do as an adult, you can go in and have that immersion that you had as a kid, obviously with a different aspect and a different viewpoint because you're older, but that same core appreciation, I think, is met. And I think for some it dies out when you play the same game over and over again, which is why I think you and I are the type of people that are like, let's bounce around and make sure this never gets old. Like, I don't want this feeling to ever die. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I've heard
Yeah.
that people are like, I'm done with video games. I'm like,
Oh,
you're
so
done with video
yeah, like
games?
it's so sad to hear that, because I'm like, there's still games in the PS2 era that I have to play. Like,
Right,
like
right.
my backlog is ridiculous.
Like, you have a whole list. You're like, well, hold on, I'm to this one now. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not even
no, I feel
close
that.
to being done. So it's like, when they say that, I'm like, man, I just wish maybe they, and like you said, it's a younger audience, so maybe they just don't know better. No offense to them, but if I just grew up playing Fortnite, I would be like, I wouldn't want to play. Why would I play anything else? I got everything here.
Everything's there.
Everything's
Everything
there.
is in
Yeah,
Fortnite.
yeah. Why would I? What's
Right,
this game?
everything.
Yeah, and then pay $70. I don't got $70.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
She's like, Mom.
right. So
I need $70. That cool? Like,
yeah,
no.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I can totally see myself sinking countless hours into that game and not seeing the point of trying anything new. But
Right.
growing up in that era of just like, starting with Sega Genesis and forward, like, my parents weren't like the poorest, but they made it very clear, like, hey, look, man, like, we'll get one for your birthday, maybe one or two, but you're gonna have
Right.
to, you know what I mean?
It was
Like,
a big deal. It was a big
it's
deal.
a big deal. So,
Big deal.
you'd get that one game and you play it multiple times. You'd rebeat it. You do different funny things with it, and just growing up that way. I'm not gonna lie, folks. It's hard, man. It's hard to kind of like understand that mentality, like you said earlier. People that are just like, there's no and some of the streamers say it all the time, and go figure, they're like Call of Duty streamers, and they'll be like, gaming now is just so stale, and I'm like,
Right. Oh my gosh.
I can't.
Literally, you called it. I literally know, like, of streamers, and not anyone that's in the community, but like ones that I observe on the out, that and not necessarily Doc or anything, because he tries other stuff, but
Yeah.
the in between, and they're just like, gaming's dead. Gaming's just absolutely dead, as they're just like playing Call of Duty just non-stop. And I'm like, you cannot play one game and just be like, gaming's dead. That's literally, and I compare this a lot because of similar medias, but it's like doing that with movies. If you
Right.
were to watch Lord of the Rings every day, eventually you're just going to be like, I either hate this, and if especially if you go, well, that's going to account for all of my enjoyment of all cinema, you'd be like, cinema's dead because I've watched Lord of the Rings 158 times. It's like, you're like, I played Call of Duty for 4 months straight and video games are dead now. And it's like, you mean this game is boring to you? Play something else. Go
Yes.
play Goat Simulator for 20 minutes, dude, and just
Yeah.
go, oh, okay, gaming is ridiculous. Got it. Right. And just have
Right.
fun again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a shame, man. And part of it too, and this goes back to like, I forgot who said this, man, and I want to give credit where credit is due. But it does have a lot to do with like your state of being, like what you value, what you think is important, and what's your mentality. Because even some of my friends, like personal friends, they'll be like, I just don't feel like playing anything anymore. And that's okay. It's just your life changes, priorities change, and you don't see yourself investing into all these different games anymore. And that's fair too. But don't make a broad statement about gaming like, dude, like, are you under a rock? Like, are you kidding me? I can't even keep up anymore. It's so good.
It's right.
Yeah.
We're like, what are you looking at besides the battle pass in Call of Duty? It's like they just can't go beyond that. I just noticed your Guitar Hero guitar. Sorry.
Yep. I wasn't joking. It's right there. Yep,
I was like, I see the buttons.
Yep,
okay,
yep,
anyway.
yep.
But yeah, no, it's you called it, because it was just the other week that I was literally watching a Call of Duty streamer, pretty big, 40,000 subs or something like that, respectable amount, and was just like nah, to 50, 80 people, video games are dead. I'm like, what do you do? Like, what? Like, how exciting are they? Not only are video games not fun and exciting, but when you add the element of streaming it in front of people and you can like cope with that and get over that, that makes video games, that takes a video game and adds a whole new DLC to it.
Yep.
Because now you're playing a video game in front of criticizing people, whether that's good or bad. And you're dealing with like what I've put myself through with the sounds, and like you have those noises that they can either claim, and that fun interactive experience of having kind of a peanut gallery watch you play the games. And that's why I choose certain games to play. I'm very specific with what I like play when it comes to, do I want them to really like, I don't play a lot of Minecraft because that's kind of my Zen game. That's my Zen garden. That's my game that I go in and like, but I very rarely touched it on the stream where I've shown them either a world of mine or whatnot. And they're like, come on, play, open a world, play. And I'm just like, I just don't know if I want to blend the two worlds, because I still have games that I just won't ever play on stream because I consider that kind of just, I won't ever break that relationship with that game.
Yeah.
And recently, like with Final Fantasy, that took a lot of like thought to be like, do I really want to like play this in front of people? Because it's going to be, very specific times that I would do it, just because that's how I look at streaming.
Yeah. There's some games that, like you said, like, because there's a constant element of, like you said, you got viewers. There's a level of interactivity, because why the heck else are you streaming? You're not just streaming just to play a game and not interact. Like,
right?
Super Rocker said that perfectly. He's like, if you're just sitting there, you're not talking, to call someone out.
You have those people. There's
right.
They saturate the market.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's a lot of them, and it's like, then what's the point of you streaming? Now I get it. It's better to do it than not do it. I guess it depends on your goal. But if your goal is to foster a community, sure, it's 100% preferable to play a game to where you can have that interactivity. You can at least take a break and talk to them and see what they think, hear their feedback, and 100%, you're 100% right. Like for me, that game would be like probably Project Zomboid. It's a very like hardcore zombie survival game on PC. Okay, very elaborate. The graphics are not the best, but it's extremely elaborate. I'm talking like whatever you can think you would do on a zombie apocalypse, you can do on that game. Like it's like that. Very difficult. It's like $20, dude. And the mods,
I watched Brock. I've seen Brock play that.
Yeah, it's like $20. The mod support's amazing. I'm a psychopath. I love like having a pee and poop system, toilet system. Like
You just want the whole. You want the whole nine.
yes, yes.
So wait, do you play like Tarkov and those types
Oh
of
yeah, oh
games?
yeah,
Like
oh yeah, oh yeah.
micromanaging your equipment, making sure
Yeah.
you have everything you need.
Yep, yep. Those are
I
my
see
types of
that.
games where I really can appreciate. Like if I ever made a game, it would probably be like some type of either like COD zombie style game or something like that. Yeah, because
Something where all that meticulous stuff matters. It really
maybe
does.
like I would want to keep things fun to engage a new audience.
Right,
But
right,
if I could
right.
make two, sure, I'd make one that's a little more hardcore because I love that idea. I love that like I can take apart this table and use it as barricades. I love that in a
Okay,
like a
got you.
heated moment. You know, if I don't have a bandage, I can use a window curtain as a bandage. Like
So you love the fact that you have so many options, and the fact that you
yes,
can trial and error things in a
hmm
realm. That's why another thing I love video games. You can try and fail in a realm that it does not matter. And you
yes,
can learn
yes,
how to fail, and you can learn how to try again,
yeah.
even the same exact scenario. And that's I think a really good thing for our brains to be able to
It
do.
is. It is. I love it, man. Like so many stories, but on my own. Now I love there's some like content creators for that game where they'll make a character and then they'll have a series with that character and what they went through and they kind of
Oh,
like story
good
tell with that
content.
person. Yeah, it's great
I
content. I
like
love
that.
it.
Okay.
And then all those are in my head, so I am wondering like but maybe my audience wouldn't like it, but just like you said, like I'd have to like put some thought into it before I would do it. But one of my ideas was like actually to make you guys like I want to like make Fawkes and then see if he would survive like this certain scenario. That
Dude,
would be funny.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's like one of the ideas I'm playing with because again, like and like I was saying earlier, you need that interactivity. If you're just gonna sit there and play, like I typically do when I play that game, I'm like immersed. I'm like, I need to
Right.
make soup. Okay, what do I have? I've got pork chops and peas. All right, I'm just gonna throw that in a bowl. Let's see if it tastes good. Like
You're
it's
like,
got
and that's gonna take 10 to 15 minutes.
yes,
And you're like, and I'm for it. I'm
yeah,
here for that. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
yeah.
you
Like
look over. Oh, hey guys. Right, you're here. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like,
So I think there's ways to do it, and I'm sure you can see what I mean when I say that. Like you got to find a way to connect the two, and then yeah, there's those games that like you said, like offline. It's just you in that game.
right.
Yeah.
I think it's about reading the room as a
Mm-hmm.
streamer, kind of like any sort of, you know, if you've got a cam and you have a mic, you're a performer. You're
Mm.
out there moving and talking and interacting, and so you're performing in a way, whether that's you interacting with a game, playing a character like Dr. Disrespect does. You know, even Tim the Tapman is playing a certain character.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he's not sitting at dinner just being like, these peas are great, like, and yelling
Nah.
like Tim does. So like, so there's that character element, and I think that uh I completely lost my train of thought.
No, you're good. To help you add into it, like there's an like I said, we were saying, there's an element to the stream that adds interactivity. So even like
Right.
the example you were bringing up, like Tim the Tapman, he may not be playing with his viewers or interacting as much, but he has an element of like he's like that relatable friend who's like a little goofy. He's not the
Yeah.
best of the world, but he's
The one you want to make
relatable.
fun of, and he's
Yes,
fine with
yes,
it. And
and
you're
he
like, you're
feeds
dumb. And he's
into that.
like, I know, but it's fine. Shut up, get in the car. And you're just
Yeah,
like, and you can
yeah.
just laugh with him. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So he
He
feeds
plays
into
that and
that.
sells
Yeah,
that well.
very well, very well. I'm
He
pretty
knew
sure
that.
the dude is just as capable as any other guy,
Oh
but
yeah.
he really feeds into like that. That especially the dynamic between him and Doc is really funny. You know.
Right.
So yeah.
And okay, so you brought me back on track. You're good at this.
Thank you.
Um, so when I go on and I know that I have a camera and whatnot, I know that I'm performing, I'm not going to just sit there and just, especially again with camera and mic, be like, okay, watch me, I'm interesting how I stare at a screen like that. How does that work?
Yeah.
So when I run across, because I often with streaming, I often study streaming and I study other streamers, and I go far outside of the community. I look at the community that's around and all that kind of stuff, and I just do a lot of studying, more than I ever did in school at all. And I'll run across these people who just like have a cam, they're just sitting there, and there's people talking, but like they're literally just like glued and they're not doing anything. And I'm like, do you really think that highly of yourself? Is it hard to talk? Because I know how that is. It's
Yeah.
hard to interact. You're coming up with like what to say, and you just can't, because you're also doing the video game or whatever it is. But you know, you see those, and then you see there's also streamers that are literally just like leaving just something up, just like
Yeah.
leaving one thing up, and you're just kind of like, well, you know, at what point are you not oversaturating the market for the people that are going on with, you know, the lights and the thought of their community and talking, and today I'm going to do a giveaway, and today I'm going to lead them through this type of organized entertainment so that there's something for them, there's a reason for them to tune in, there's a reason to be like a member if that's something they want to be. And I just think it's so funny to see these people that go all the way of getting the lights, the camera, the everything, your face is there, and then you're just like, just watch me. And it's like,
Yeah, the only, I guess, benefit or I guess if I were to steel man the situation, I don't know what's the proper word for this, but I would hope that the gameplay would reflect some form of entertainment. Like, I would hope, because if you're quiet and you suck, like, I don't know what to tell you.
Then it's kind of, and that's the point. And I heard that a while ago, and I thought it was I can't remember where I heard it. It was kind of just on a general, I think it was a YouTuber saying, you know, hey, if you're going to be a YouTuber, streamer, any kind of content creator where your face is up there and you're whatever, or not, but there's three things. And you either can have all three of them, or you need to at least be good at one. And that's, you either are amazing at video games, like God tier style, like you don't get beat and you can do like speed runs and all that kind of stuff. Or your personality is just amazing, top notch, doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter what you're playing, people are going to just love your reactions, whatever. Or three, your editing is killer, like best out there. And if you can nail one of those, you can do pretty well. But if you can do all three, then you're just a powerhouse. You're Steph Curry. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be hard to compete with that in the market. And so I think a lot of people hit one of those three, or maybe two of those three, and those few that have all three, it's just, you see them up there and you're just like, yep, that's that top standard.
And streaming is just evolving, man. Like, you know, like, to speak on like Cenat, for example, like, I don't really see him play a lot of games, but this dude seems to always be setting the bar for like what to expect. Cenat. I mean, you I don't go on Twitch often.
I gotta look them up.
Yeah, but if you were to ever look at any of his streams, he's always doing something absolutely insane. The dude was like, on July 4th, you ready for this? He was live streaming himself, I guess, like in his house or at a house, with like a firework rocket launcher, just shooting it in the hole. Dude, right.
Inside? Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. Well, outside of the the obvious dangers with that, which I would hope he had a team who, you know, talked to him, because the dude he's the biggest Twitch streamer for, I think, biggest subscribers. I don't know if he is the biggest, but most subscribed on Twitch. Dude's making bank. Every time I tune into him, he's doing something. He's dancing with like an old guy. He's like playing some truck driving simulator, like a madman. Like, you just don't know what to expect.
He's just all over the board.
He's all over the board. So he really mastered the two out of those three and became one of the most subscribed people. So my point being is, like, it's almost like you don't even need the gaming skill anymore. Like, if you can really think outside the box and you do some type of IRL streams, podcasts are a big one,
right?
Like, you can really ascend further. And I think, you know, I don't even know if the game thing is a relevant like check mark anymore. Like, being good at a game, because you could be good at, let's say you're a good drawer. I know people that love, you know, hey chat, what do you want me to draw? I'll send it to you for free, and people tune in, and it's amazing.
So yeah, streaming definitely has made it more of a of TV or entertainment. Programs are now, how would you say? There's just what is it when they're basically, like, you know, I told my parents what to break down what I did to my dad. I was like, it's like public access television. It's like I have that one weird little channel that like people can watch at 2 a.m, and it's like that local guy. And, you know, Wayne's World was like a big part of that, and then they got big because there was such a following to that. So I tried to kind of explain that to my dad, and once I said it like that, he was like, okay. And I also
Yeah.
compared it to like being like a street performer, which does kind
Mm.
of go back to what we're saying. If you think of a street performer out there, and let's say he has a guitar as his medium, like video games are mediums for some streamers to interact with their stream. It's the way that it's that thing in the room that they can both commit to. And so the guitar, as a street performer, the person's going to listen, the guy's going to move and create the music. And, you know, as the performer goes, if he's really good, he's got the guitar case out, he's going to get a little bit of fan funding. He's going to be like, hey, the people are going to be like, I like what you do. But if you take away the guitar or even just set the guitar down and still put that person up there, if you look at it like streaming, like we were talking about, just putting the camera, then really you're just standing there going, okay, throw the money down. And it's kind of like, you need to do something. And like
Yeah.
you said, the video game isn't necessarily what we need to see, but we need to see something.
Something. Yeah.
Do move around, dance with an old guy, light a firework off in the hallway, whatever. Safely, safely, safely,
Safely. Yeah.
safely. I'm sure he had 50 of his friends on the outside of the camera, all with fire extinguishers. Like, we're ready, bud. We're ready. And he was like, "You ready?"
Well,
and, he was
well,
like,
the thing is, to add to that, I don't even think that's the craziest thing he's done. I mean, this dude's doing like
right.
no, like he's doing stunts. Like it's insane. Yeah.
So now, would you almost say, because I kind of thought about this the other day to this point, would you say that, because you remember, you know, quoting the name Jackass,
yeah. Yes. Yes.
and Bam Margera. Now, would you almost say that they were just early versions
Yes.
of I Show Speed,
Yeah.
and like these guys that are just like, I'm gonna do this today because I have enough money to do it, and I can run a Lambo into a lake and destroy one, and it doesn't matter.
Yep.
And that's what Bam would do, and you know, the Jackass guys would just, hey, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Today we're gonna be rolling down a hill for cheese, you know. And like, so if you tune into a channel and you got your guy being like, all right, guys, I'm gonna roll down this hill, try to catch this cheese. You'd be like, what? And then the next day he's playing guitar or whatever and just having fun in his living room. I'd be like, what is he gonna do next? You know, so I think streaming definitely gives the umbrella of, if do you want to just sit and play video games and interact at that medium, that's fine. Do you wanna react? Do you want to do podcasts? I feel like streaming really gives that every man the ability to create a TV program or an entertainment show, whatever, music or visuals or video game, whatever it is. And it just gave us that opportunity, which people had to go to Hollywood, become a waiter, or work in something that got your face out there, had to schmooze up to a writer. You know, there was a lot of stuff you had to do. Now we're just given, here's your stream seed, good luck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Find that algorithm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You know, which finding the algorithm is, like I said just a second ago, it's like being a waiter in Hollywood. You're like, you know, when you're live, you're waiting tables. You're in that sense of trying to get yourself out there. Because of course, like me, I love the chat that I have. I love the community, the tight knit, positive. We you know, celebrate each other. We don't try to bring each other down. I really like that. And so, you know, I don't, it's not that I wouldn't want more people in chat. It's just I really like where it's at. And I know that if there were more people, it would change the kind of the vibe I have with the current people, being that, you know, I've played Fall Guys and had 40 people in my chat. I'm just like, I don't have any interaction at all because I'm just, it's flying by and whatnot. So I really like that. And when it comes to the umbrella and how high you can go and whatnot, I really like where I'm at. But in the same sense of kind of being like a waiter, you're kind of, you know, you love the tables and the people that you meet, and you can really have those regulars. You're just like, man, I just really love this. But then any second someone could come and be like, I'm doing a movie and I really like how you speak. I like the way you look. I like how you hold yourself. Be perfect for a part. That for me is kind of why I kind of like stream now, is because I would like to, you know, be some sort of actor when it comes to like either comedic actor or any serious, which I've never been able to do. But I've always had the camera. I've always been interested. I've always had that, you know, I made skits when I was a kid, but nothing that people would see. You know, now I make skits and I have my friends in there, but I'm not in there. But then to have people watch it and go, oh, this is all right, I'm just like, okay, that'd be cool, you know, if I ever tried acting. So for me, that's how I see streaming when it comes to like that medium. Because you said some people, you know, don't need the guitar, don't need the gaming at all. And the other day I was talking to you, I was just like, you know, it's weird. I have 15 people listening to me talk and rant about, I forget what it was. I was just talking and saying hi. And it was for like an hour. And then as soon as I start any video game, it just like drops.
Right.
And it's because it'll call for either a certain crowd and they're just like, well, I don't like Rocket League. See ya. And I'm
Right.
just like,
Right.
that's fine. And I don't blame them. But it is funny to see that because then it makes me think, okay, should I just talk more? But I don't think of myself as someone that would be very interesting to listen to for long periods of time. But that's just probably my own thing because I've been told like, "Wow, man, tell us a story." I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like read us a book because like my chat's like, "Will you read us a bedtime story?" And I was just like, "Will you do it like Morgan Freeman?" I'm just like, no.
Which I saw that you did that.
Yeah.
It's so funny, man.
That was just on a whim when that guy was like, "Is that Morgan Freeman?" Was, yes, this is Morgan Freeman. And I just loved that because I guess I said, you know, very calmly, "Where do you want to go?" And that was Morgan Freeman-esque. And the guy's relaxed. I was relaxed. So,
yeah,
but
it was so good.
that was really fun to do.
Yeah. I
love towards the end of that, the guys like kind of knew that I was recording or something because they were like, well, thank you. Like he started like speaking into his mic. I was like, that guy just realized I was gonna save this.
Yeah, of course. That's gold, man. Yeah, an improvised Morgan Freeman like that was gold, man. And it was like really good. I was like, oh my goodness, this is really good. Yeah, you make some pretty good skits, man. We reacted to it live. Very good camera work.
Thank you. You guys, I'm a photographer, so
oh no, no,
yeah. So lighting and angles and the like getting that eye for like the composition of a shot is huge for me. So anytime I have any of those angles, I try to either mimic cinema that I've seen before, or I just visually go, this is the best. You know, you don't want certain things. So you were one of the only people that has ever said, wow, man, you said it right away. And I was like, no way did he just comment on the lighting and angles. No one has ever said that. No one ever. And I was just like, man, this guy, I was just like, that you had me through the moon. Like, I was like, man, the rest of the day was great. So like, that makes me so happy because I put so much into it. Not maybe as much as like Stanley Kubrick kind of attention, but like someone said in your chat, this is like one of those B movies that are bad, but you like them kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I felt that was such a compliment because those are some of my favorite movies.
Yes.
So to even have that close, it was such a flattering thing. Just like when I did stand up for the first time and I did a bit, and at the end, someone said, you know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of Lucille Ball and Ricky Ricardo type of comedy. And I grew up watching that. And that was the hugest compliment to me because to me, that's smart comedy. That's, you know, it for the time. And I don't know. It was just a huge compliment to have your chat say that. And I had my hands on my head because I was like, right, there's the ketchup thing. And I'm kind of risking that because I just recently heard that Brock got taken down for a while because he showed a fish being blended up in his meme reactions. So he didn't know, and he was like scrolling down and he hit play and it showed it real quick. And since it was real and not a video game, it crossed the terms because you were playing Resident Evil.
Yeah, I was playing Resident Evil 4.
So it's so funny that's the contrast. But again, I didn't want YouTube to what if you were in a different angle that YouTube was looking at you harder, and then they saw the with the full circle and the star and the whole knife out, and I was just like, what if I would feel so bad if I'd been running it, and then all of a sudden this dude gets like some weird strike and I don't hear from Yugi, and I'm like, no. And I know it's overthinking it, but that fish blend thing was in my head, and I was like, this is real life. This isn't a video game. It's not a movie. It's not art. Well, it's not drawn art, so it's not fake. And it as fake as it was with the knife and the fake gun and stuff, but it was in real life. So all those flooded my head, and I just was like, I don't want his first impression of me to be like got him a strike or something. So I overthought the situation, but it was so cool to have you watch that and have people live saying this is kind of good, and I was like, holy cow, because I've watched my guys, like, they'll laugh and they try to time out sounds to mess with it, and they've seen it 1,000 times, but to get that fresh look from you and your chat was so like out of nowhere. I was like, oh man, but thank you again for doing that. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
that
My
live
pleasure. I do it
review.
for everyone. So if you're gonna raid me, it may happen to you. Like I
Hey,
just
I gather. I don't rate. I
oh
gather.
right,
I
right. I
try to
know.
make that a very. I actually voice that very strongly to anyone that I'm with at the time. That I'd like it because I feel like, and this is personal opinion, but you know, when Jake rated me and there was 1,100 people in chat, I would say that's a raid. You can't deny that. And I don't want to belittle other raids that people bring over that there's 4 people.
Hmm.
That's still a raid and that's fine. But I do feel like there's a different way of handling certain raids.
Hmm.
You know, they're not all the same. So I do feel for personally, and that's why I speak for the lower numbers personally. I'm just like, you know, I want to call it something different, not trying to start some trend at all, but just I want to gather my people over to somewhere else. And I usually ask them to just say something individual to the streamer, something that is going to connect them in first, uh, the, you know, first impression kind of basis. You know, that's a saying for a reason. First impressions make everything. As soon as you see that name, Monster Hunter 64, and they're saying, you know, raid, 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 and they're spamming it, your first connection of that person is that they just spam that. Literally, just subliminally, that's going to be the first impression of that name with that comment.
Hmm.
On the contrast of having Monster Hunter 64 come in and say, dude, I really like your lighting in the back. For me personally, I'm going to go Monster Hunter 64 thought of my lighting. I now have that knowledge of that person, that chat member, and I can now connect with them in that level. And so that's why I ask people to go over and say something meaningful that you would actually just say to someone. You wouldn't walk into somebody's room if they're playing a game, and that's how I consider streaming, because we used to joke about Rocket League. People 1v1 me, and we joked about like someone coming into your room just busting the door, 1v1 me, play the game with me right now, and you're just like, no, I'm doing a thing, okay, bye, and you close the door. That's how some of these people come into chat. So I think of raids the same way. You're playing a game and you have 4 or 5 friends over and you guys are vibing, you guys are having a good time. Then you have, you know, 7 to 10 to 15 people, whatever, you know, it is, come in and they're saying raid, 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 Monster Hunter 64 raid, Monster Hunter 64 raid, Monster Hunter 64 raid. And they're a bunch of people walking in with signs, Monster Hunter, and you're just like, whoa, we were just chilling, having a good time. Okay, yeah, yeah, hey, thanks, cool, totally awesome. But man, whoo, really, like, you know, there's a different type of raid mentality versus having like a lot of people and you going, oh, you just, you know, it gave me the exposure of 800 plus subs and that kind of like feel versus like having, you know, 12 people walk into your house and yell a name and then leave a lot of
Hmm.
times, you know. And
Hmm.
so I think that the level of rating is very you know, apparent. And for me, I feel that gathering somewhere and just being like, go hang out with this person versus go yell my name and then I'm out. And so when I went over, there's always somebody that goes, Fawkes raid, and I'm just like, no, okay, thank you, but you know, like I understand where you're coming from, but it's just fun. I think it's also more fun to watch the person kind of just look over and just go, okay, like I think it was you even said, you're like, because we all said good vibes, or you're the best, or you're the go, or something. You're like, why all the sudden positivity? And you were so great with that. You were just like, I saw your eyes go over. You're just like, all right, I like it, but what's it all about? Like, just your attitude was so great. And that's when I love kind of watching that. I'm just like, no, just good vibes, man. Just keep streaming, you know. And someone will come in and go Fawkes straight, and then they go, oh, thank you, Fawkes. And I'm like, you know, I do like it when they don't know and they just have that feeling of like, you know, not a false feeling of the algorithm, but just the sense that there are chances, whether it's the
Hmm.
algorithm or it's just somebody else's kindness, but there are chances to get more exposure and have more people come in just randomly. So, you know, I always like just being like, no, we're just here, man. And they're just like, oh, and that gives them that pump to keep streaming, because that's really what's going to get you in the algorithm. If you're going for that and not like, for me, I don't put a lot of long form videos out or shorts or anything. I primarily stream. And so for me, you know, it's like the more streams that you can, the more consistent, the more the algorithm's going to go, okay, you're a fair product to put our time into. You're
Right.
consistent. You're 5 days a week. You're this time to this time. We can rely on that versus someone that's popping it on for 45 minutes here and an hour here and 2 hours. I think that with the algorithm, you think of it as a boss, they want to know that you're consistent to some level. And so I think that for me, consistency is the best to get out there. And so anyone that's streaming, I've had plenty of people that we've gathered to that are like, that was literally going to be the last stream. They were like, I was going to stop. And then they
Right.
were like, you came in, you guys were cool. You didn't yell Fawkes raid, Fawkes raid, Fawkes raid, disturb, shake the stream, and then run away, because that can be jarring too. As exciting as some might take that, be like, that was the coolest. Some people might be like, that was super jarring. That
Yeah.
really threw me off my vibe. And so
Yeah.
I've seen that. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just go in and say good vibes. Like that is so much nicer to read than raid, because that can be negative. Especially, I thought it was bad one time. Someone came in and said nightmare raid. That was my first raid, nightmare raid. And I went, oh crap. There's going to be 30 people in here being terrible. A nightmare raid. The dude's name was Nightmare. And I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I put it together, and they ended up being awesome and someone I still talk to. And but I do think that's why I strongly try to tell my chat to try to do that. And they've even told me, hey man, I actually like doing it that way. I ended up having a good time at that chat, and now I'm like, we're cool with each other. And it's like, cool, you had a good first experience, you had a good first interaction, and it was your own. It had nothing tied to me. And I think that's just kind of healthier for the community, you know.
Yeah. Did you come up with
Personally.
this on your own, or like how did
Yeah,
that?
like I just, okay, so it happened because Jake rated me, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was so cool. And so what I did is I was like, you know what, if I have this amount of people, I'd love to go do that too. So once I started seeing more of them either done where I was in someone's chat, people don't necessarily always take it as a good thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll look over and think they're all bots. I've been called, oh, we're all bots. They'll just time us all out. They'll literally just stop the chat, and we're all like, oh,
Because they don't know.
they didn't get it because we were all yelling
Mm.
raid, 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 raid. They think it's a bot. They don't know if it's a raid bot or something. But if you
Yeah.
go in saying, hey man, I really like the lighting in the back, and I think that it's cool that you have a Fallout poster, I'm like, oh, this dude's real. This is a real
Mm.
person talking to me. So I think that there was a level to that, me seeing that and then just being like, you know what, I don't have a lot of people, but I have enough people that to someone with 0 viewers, it's going to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then with that small of a group, you can really get across like those personal messages that are like, hey man, like thanks for, like I say, if you don't know what to say, just say thanks for streaming, because that, man, that can go for miles to hear that if you're on a bad night and you're just like, no one came by, but then someone comes by and says thanks for streaming, and I love your setup and your lighting school, and I love this game too, can we ever play? And then that person's like, I'll stream tomorrow. So
Yeah.
once that started happening, I was like, yeah, we're going to call it gathering. Don't say my name. It's not about that. It's about giving this person literal good vibes. Because I think that people hide behind, oh, we're going to go raid, it's going to be good for them. But you're just screaming your name in someone else's chat.
Mm.
And I have a very strong, feeling that if you have less people than the person's in, I won't go. If I have 8 people, the person has 20, I'm not about to go in there and especially say my name. Now I'll go in the way I do, where we just say something nice. But even so, I fear that someone's going to go Fawkes raid, Fawkes raid, Fawkes raid. And so I don't want, I personally,
Yeah.
again,
A
I don't
preference.
judge. Yeah. I don't judge anyone rating. Like if I get a raid and it's 2 people, thank you. I appreciate the thought. But when that 2 people come in and one's the person's name and you're both just screaming that name over and over and over again, the only intention there is to get your name seen by the already occupying chat. Like the
Mm.
people who are already there, you are only advertising at that point. Whereas
Mm.
Jake hit me with 1,100 people when I had 3 people in chat. You can see the short. I have 3 people on my little marker, and then it said 1,100, which only looked like 100 because my marker was so close to the edge. So, of course you're going to appreciate that. No matter what they were ranting and raving, it netted me 800 subs. You can't
Yeah.
knock that type of exposure,
No.
and that was very helpful. And it would be hard to look at that in a negative way at all.
Yeah.
Versus 2 people coming in and saying Monster Hunter 64, Monster Hunter 64 raid, Monster
Yeah.
Hunter 64. Okay, cool. I've literally had people be like, all right, chill out, we get it. And it gets
Yeah.
awkward.
Yeah,
you're
it's like what me and Vitais talked about. It's like a sneaky way of self-advertising.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can't hide behind raid. And I feel like some people unfortunately do. And, you know, I don't, you know, I don't like saying that it's a bad thing because, again, bringing two people somewhere is going to be two people more than you had. That's why it lies on a personal thing that I'm just like, that's just how I kind of go about it. But I have had my chat say that they've had better experiences. They've spent hours in someone's stream afterward, and it was just the coolest, newest thing because it was brand new person. It was exciting. And I was like, good. I'm so glad that you didn't just raid and scream, and then that person's like, okay, you're 9 years old, I can tell by how many times you yelled raid, you know, because it's like some people yell raid and it's like, I know they're 25, 30 years old, and I'm just like, this person's gonna look at you like you might be younger because, you know, just the way that it comes across in the raid. So I find that raid thing is very sensitive just from my experience. So yeah, it's something I just kind of made up, and I don't advise anyone really else to do it. Although I have seen other people be like, you know what, I'm gonna be funny with it. We're not gonna raid. We're gonna, you know, Pixels will be like, we're gonna order food. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. So he'll come into mine and he'll be like, they'll just people come in, can I get a double? I'm like, okay. And then it'll be like 2 French fries, extra shake, this and that. I'm like, dude, what is happening? And I was just like, well done. So it's not like I was trying to start anything with it, but I did see someone else take from that and make it really funny.
Pixels, yeah, that's awesome.
And so yeah, that's just what I try to do every time. And I would continue to do it even if I had 100 people. I would go over to someone that had 0 to 1, and I would just be like, say something nice. Like, even if it's overwhelming, like, don't say a paragraph, just say your lighting school, you rock, good vibes, rock on. Just quick things they can just go, dude, and just be like, this is the best day, instead of just being like, okay, I got rated, that's jarring, but I don't know anyone, I didn't get any, like, you know, that's a
really good way of looking at it. Yeah, I never heard of it articulated that way, because I always did myself have a preference of rating people, for lack of a better way to put it, smaller than me. But I didn't. That's a very creative way of looking at it. I like that. I like that a lot. I know Jakerton does wholesome raids. Is that what he called it when he went to you?
Yeah. So he asked me, are you wholesome? And I just was like, I mean, you know, at the time I didn't really curse all too much because I knew that there were some younger kids in chat, and I've worked in a school district, and so that filter was really easy to just put right back on, and I do that just out of respect. It just, there's, you know, like now I just don't use it in my everyday vocabulary. Yeah, it happens only when I comedically want to punch something, like at the end of a sentence, like you know, just for that comedic bit, like, whoa, he cursed, he never curses, like, it's funny because he said, you know, so I'll use it that way. But yeah, and just, are you wholesome? And I just like, I mean, yeah, yes. And on his side, I watched, he's like, oh, we might have found literally one of the most wholesome. And I was just like, that was so nice. And then yeah, just blew up chat, and I just was sitting here going like, all right, okay, I've watched videos where this happened, and then sure enough, I was monetized the next day, and it just it was like a big thing. Yeah. And so yeah, the wholesome rated, so he had like a tag, like wholesome, that was like a thing he was doing. I thought that was really cool. And so I guess kind of in a way I wanted, because my buddy and I, Limits, he was streaming too, he does it right now, but at the time when I got all those people in, I wanted to share the love, so I was like cranking out all these links, and I said, this is, you know, one of my best friends, and like he got like 700 people over there, and he was just like, what's going on, you know. And so we did this thing after that where if we brought a good amount of people, because after that we had a residual like 30 to 45 people that would chill, and we could bring a significant amount of people over, and we were kind of echoing that wholesome raid. And so after a while, once we weren't echoing wholesome raid, it just kind of probably evolved into me just being like, let's just go be nice, just be cool, just be you, say something that's personal to you. So I think it was kind of maybe like an echo of that.
I really like that. Yeah, that's one of the coolest way to do it. I might have to yoink that from you, man. I might have to steal that from you.
Hey, that's fine, because, you know, I mean, honestly, someone eventually is going to stay and be a loyal fan to that person, and they're just going to be like, yeah, actually I came over with Fawkes, and then that person's just going to might be like, and then they can on their own terms, if they want to come check it out and this and that, the advertisement goes to that. In my mind, just to that one dude. Hey, if you want to come see it, but I'm not going to go in and try to get the 15 people that are watching you to come click my video, you know?
Yeah, so I see what you're saying, because it focuses on them rather than yourself. Yeah, you know what? I really like that. I really like that. I guess, hey man, you opened my eyes. You really taught me something new.
Cool, thanks. Jay.
Yeah,
I mean, we all do that for each other, you know.
Yeah.
You've said a couple things to me that I'm like, you know, yeah, like already, and just tonight. So
thank you. Yeah, like I like that, because I guess it's just you don't know better until you hear it from a different perspective. Because, like I said, my 2 rules were just always, it's got to be someone, you know, smaller than me. I have to ask them permission, because, like you said, it is overwhelming for some people. Like some people.
Oh, you ask them beforehand?
Yes. Yeah. So I always ask. You'll see it. Like I do them live. So I'll like go over and I'll be like, hey, like, is it okay if I send some people over to you? I got like 12
I've watched your podcast. I haven't quite. I've watched some of your mid Fall Guy stuff, but never to the end. So you live while your chat's going?
Yeah. I'll be like, hey, I'll find someone to raid. Give me a second.
You show your chat too, or is it you?
So until they say yeah, I won't show them. So like I'll do it on the side. So, you know, like we'll just be hanging out towards the end. And I'll be like, oh, okay, I like this guy. Let me ask him. So I'll get on my keyboard, you know. Hey, man, is it cool if we raid you? You know? I've got like 12 people. Yeah, because...
That's respectful.
Correct, because I think... And it's a terms of service thing. Like, I think it can be misinterpreted by YouTube as harassment if that person may feel overwhelmed. They may feel that way. It's just one of those things. Like, look, man, like, we're older. You know what I mean? What's really going to bother us? We've probably heard it all. But, yeah. But if it's like
too gray in the beard to be hurt by any internet talk.
Yeah, like, come on. Like, you're going to raid me. I'm going to get offended. Okay. Yeah. But to be fair to those who, you know, may have, you know, different conditions, they may get like overstimulated, you know, and then heart rate goes up and they're freaking out. So it's more courteous to like ask first. I feel that's what I've been doing. But
see, that's a great, that's cool too. I like that. Right. You actually kind of make your own connection back to the whole like first impression thing. Because then they're just like, oh, Yugi, what's up?
Yeah. And some people will flat out say like, hey man, I'm about to end stream. Like, you should just go somewhere else. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You know, so.
See, I've run into where we go in and they're just like, dude, I'm just leaving. I'm like, for me, I'm like, it's cool. But like, you know, that's a cool heads up that you get, because you're like, well, I can really make sure they go to someone that's going to be up for another blah, blah, amount of time. Yeah. So that's cool. That's a good one. See, you were doing your own level of it.
Right. Yeah, that was my main too. But I didn't think to do it that way. I think that's a lot more personable. And it is true what you're saying, because you're one of the few raids that were memorable because of that reason. Because it really did, like, for all the right reasons, of course, but it really did throw me off. I was like,
I love and that's what I love, because that slow smile of wait, what? Like, I just love that, because you're not sure at first.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna get raw for a second here,
okay?
Because I've dealt with that, but they were being extremely sarcastic. So I'm just like, my walls.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like they were being very like extremely
either condescending or toxic or kind of backhanded compliments that you're just kind of like, okay, I'm not gonna freak out because I'm on camera, but you guys kind of saying some stuff.
Yeah, like I want to give the benefit of the doubt usually, but I don't. I want to think I maybe saw your name maybe once before. So when I saw you and then I pulled up your channel, I was like, okay. And then I'm seeing your like kind of associated a little bit with Brocules. I was like, okay, all right, I'm safe, I'm good. Once I did my little research on you after, I was like, okay,
you got to do it. Yeah, anyone that takes this seriously, you do that.
Yeah.
You go check those things out. If I get a raid, I am gonna check that, and people know that people are gonna do that. That's why they do that raid. They know that they're gonna go like, how many subs do you have?
Right.
Again, I'm not knocking anyone that does the raid, and I go look and they have 26 subs. I'm like, all right, you're growing, go for it.
But I think
it's just how you handle yourself.
I think you're onto something here, though. I think you can really. I know you're not trying to start a trend, but I think it should be. I think it's a very good way to look at it. I think it refocuses things and makes things more personable. And it really doesn't come off as self-promoting, because even I'm not a fan of that. And
Yeah,
those who are in the game respect the game, so most of us try not to. Most of us.
that's what you just said. That was really well said.
Thank you.
Most of us in the game respect the game, and so when you see how it's played and
Right.
how you want it played your way, you do certain boundaries. You ask for, hey, heads up, man. Cool if I send some people over. That's really just cool and mature. So like you
Right.
said, we're older, we do things a little different. That's a product of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, my wife will tell you like respect's a big thing. Big thing. So
That's good.
yeah, asking, doing it that way, I think that has a lasting impact. And like I said, like even I will forget. So that's really cool, man. I hope anyone watching this adapts that, because you're onto some gold here, man. And it's a shocker that I haven't heard it yet. Because the Jakerton wholesome memes feels memey. Even still, like it feels a little bit of a meme. I don't know what's his
because they'd come in and they'd say eat the mic, and I was like really confused.
Yeah,
I was being told to
yeah.
eat the mic and all these inside jokes with him, and I don't watch memes. I don't currently really. I did for a little bit, and unfortunately, looking at media that your chat will submit can go a little off when you're trying to hold a certain standard, being that YouTube literally has standards. And so that I don't look at memes anymore, but I don't personally just sit there and look at memes or anything.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know who Jake was, and I didn't know really memes and that those jokes. And so I still don't. And so when they were screaming a bunch of that, I was just like, okay, I'm sure this all means something, but I know there's 1,100 people here. That's freaking me out. So I was processing things, but yeah, the wholesome rated, it's funny because when that happened, he was putting us in a kind of a group of a Discord. And so I know I connected with anyone who's been rated by Jake up to like a certain point, and some really great people.
Oh, that's a thing.
Yeah. So wow. we're like called the wholesome rated group. And that's, yeah. And I was just like, okay. And I went in and I was just like, hello. And it was like Brock and someone else. And Brock, I had just months before, it was like, no, even like a year before, because I was kind of looking just around before I started streaming. I found Brock's channel well before we were both rated and put it in Discord. And I was like, this guy's really good. He does this so well. And then now we're like buddies, and he'll come to my stream, I'll go to his, and we're back and forth with it. But we have this Discord where we can like collab with people who have been through this and talk, just like, hey, what did you do? Like, what's the next step? Like, where do I go? And it was cool because the other people who had been through it, they're like, oh, go here, do this. And I was like, oh, thank you. Because YouTube, as good as they are with directing you through that, it's nice to hear someone be like, what you really want to do is this, instead of like now set up all this stuff. And it's like, really just make sure you focus here. So that was really beneficial to have that group. And again, just meeting a lot of just cool people in that. And I've met a lot of good friends through that. But yeah, it was kind of like a thing, and that's why I still have it as a short, just because of how it was just kind of like you said, the kind of like a meme, kind of like, oh, I was like,
yeah. You gave it you took that, but you gave it a little more personality. No offense to Jake. I know he's a meme lord, and I love it, dude.
He's the meme daddy.
He's the meme daddy. I love his videos. I love his live streams. But I like how you took that and you put a little seasoning on it, and you said, hey, man. You put it on a nice warm plate and say, hey, like, this is specifically what you like. And I think that's really cool. I really think that's,
thank you.
Yeah, that's yeah, wow. This podcast has been mind blowing. I'm gonna tell you right now, man.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, cheers for sure. Yeah, right. Let's hydrate a little bit, because running my yap, I gotta keep the lips.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so like you plan on continuing this like from now on? Like, do you think this is gonna be part of the daily? Like, how you feeling about the whole streaming thing as of late?
I would love to keep doing this. Obviously, the amount when I first started taking this seriously, I was actually doing 8 to 9 hour to 10-hour days every day, just to, in a metaphor, like throw out the widest net.
Okay.
Which is also why I kind of limited my cursing and stuff, because that will narrow your net. And so I was like, I can be funny and not curse. Like, that's, I'm not trying to be like, I'm really funny. It's just like, I know how to at least get through saying things without cursing a lot, and YouTube obviously favors that when it comes to what ads can be put out. Now, being so small, I'm obviously not gaining a lot on ad revenue, but the point is to be in practice to be able to have any ads possible, whether it's an ad for a movie or an ad for a video game or an ad for a shoe or ad for this. Like, you know, if I was cursing up a storm, that shoe company's like, you know what, we don't really like cursing, so anyone that curses, please don't put our ads there.
Yeah.
Then boom, you lose that option. So I wanted the widest net possible, so I was doing crazy hours, which did eventually, you know, kind of lead to a slow kind of burnout that didn't completely make me stop, but just made me kind of cut back the hours.
Yeah.
And I kind of tried to get to a manageable level, and I really love doing it, and I love the community, and they've been literally so generous that I've been able to go for, you know, a couple of years without a 9 to 5, and that's just off of fan funding, and obviously support from, you know, my partner, and trust that it would eventually work, which again, I'm shocked that I'm able to do that now. You know, it's not always, it's not always something super like set in stone, like, hey, I've just, now I can do whatever. It's just more of like I'm able to get just almost as much as I was if I was doing 9 to 5. And I don't expect that from anyone. And, you know, like, I don't want anyone to hear this and just be like, oh, he thinks he's, and it's like not that at all. It's been surprising that I've been able to be like, well, today I could stream. I guess I could go on for 4 more hours because, you know, they made that happen. And so they kind of allowed me to like have, like I said, like that little TV program for a while. And the not certainty of that, though, being that I don't at all expect them to keep doing that or whatnot. So I can't bank on that at this point. So I'm definitely going to have to like cut back on hours. I'm probably going to, you know, be looking for something kind of part-time just to kind of pad the savings we're trying to move right now. So with that, I'm just like, you know what, dude, I could do this, and I could try and you know, like, again, have the support of my partner and this and that. But really, if we want to get out of this, I got to get more proactive. And I can't ask, I'm not going to sit there and go on like some streamers be like, hey, if you're watching, you need to be a little bit more supportive, this and that. Like, I'm so polar opposite of being able to even think of that. So in that sense, I'm going to have to, like you said, doing it every day in this, I'm going to have to find that balance for right now. But I've been lucky up to this point to not have to worry about that. So
what a blessing. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Again, I'm super blessed to have that type of community that feels that, hey, you know what, this is worth it. And I'm just like, every day think that I'm super lucky, but again, can't bank on it. So I do have thoughts where I got to get something on the other hand. But with that saying, I've actually thought of I made a new channel, and this is the first I've ever talked about it, so call it exclusive, whatever. But I just made a brand new channel called Fawkes Flicks, and it's where I basically talk about movies. I make videos, long form videos of continuity errors that I noticed. The first thing I'm making is about The Shining, and you know how Kubrick is. Everyone's like, he's a genius, he would never make mistakes, this and that. And so the continuity errors in The Shining are on purpose, this and that. And so whether there's this and that, you know, I have analysis for that. But there's one scene that I'm really picking apart. It's my first maiden voyage video, I guess, and I'll be releasing it soon. And you know, my only subscriber is my girlfriend, and so I haven't told anyone. I haven't even told my community. So this is the first thing I'm saying.
Exclusive.
So, yeah,
dude. I'm gonna remind you later. Please send me the link. We gotta link it down below. I gotta check this out, guys. This is amazing because I love movies.
Now, I don't have the video out yet, so I'll probably give you the link when I throw the video, so there's something, because what I'm gonna do is be like, if this video gets to a certain amount of likes, I'll make the full length, and I'll really go further on this. But
yeah, if anything, we'll pin it in a comment or something.
Cool, thank you. Whenever I haven't told anyone, and so back to the point of like doing this, I was finding it hard to come, because I was all about making highlights in Overwatch, you know. Junkrat, tire from above, 6 people gone, you know, team kill, like getting Farahs in the air when Junkrat's not supposed to, like that kind of stuff. And I made just highlights with music, and I don't really make long form videos that that I think I should be at this point of my content creating career. And so I, instead of skits or just streaming, I want to make long form. And I was struggling on this channel to come up with the inspiration, writer's block, if you will, of how to put long form videos and shorts that are going to be effective for this channel. And I found it so much more fun to rant about videos I like and like look at the continuity errors and rewind and be like, look at this, look at that, look at this, and what's the theory of this. And I was like, you know what, that's not going to do well on this channel, as you know, we haven't talked about, but like, you know, when you have a channel and you all of a sudden throw a whole new thing, you're not going to get as much exposure as you could if you brought that new subject to another channel. And whether that's personal belief, but I just feel like if at this point, if I were to release the shining continuity error about Danny on the carpet and how the ball rolled at him and how he was reversed, he was just moved over, like I thought it's be like, okay, it's cool that you're talking and this is something different, but like I just feel that it'll have a better chance if I start a whole new channel, and then that's dedicated. What I do is the long form videos with that, with shorts that are on there. No live stream. I'm not even gonna put my face on there. It's gonna be my voice. And so I just, as an experiment of the algorithm, I want to try that out. As I've seen people with, like, as an example, Fall Guys. If someone had a channel that was Fortnite and Apex and Rocket League and Fall Guys, and then somebody hit the algorithm with Fall Guys and just did really well. If you were to go and make a Fall Guys channel and take your people over there and that flow, that channel that you just started, that YouTube sees as having all of a sudden just all these people, they're going to favor that more than one that's been out for a while and has like maybe a little bit of incline, because it looks like a fad, like something just came out that went up. And that's just how I view it. So I was like, you know, if I start this new channel with this, the type of content that is going to be expected, and I stay expected and consistent, I think it would do well. And I want to see what that does versus what I'm doing as a streamer, where any day I could be playing Goat Simulator, or I'm reacting to Discord, or I'm, you know, I have a skit up for a Be Right Back screen, you know, whatever it may be, because I don't have like a main game. Like I don't think I do play a good amount of Rocket League, but I think that's because I flow in and out of it. Because some months I'll just play a bunch of Apex, and so I'll go into these flows where I don't necessarily only play one game, or I'm known for one game, because and that it can be to a disadvantage to myself. You know, some may say like, oh well, you're hurting yourself because your audience doesn't know what to expect, but it's like, well, I want to build the audience that doesn't expect anything. I want the audience to come in just going, you know what, whatever's happening, I'm here for it, because it's either going to be good vibes, it's going to be either funny, something I'm into, something I didn't know I was into, and it's really fun, like cool. And so I think that starting a new channel with a very focused, like I said, if you were going to go try to run with just Fall Guys to just hit that algorithm, and the fact that 60 people can be there, and that's your only content, then YouTube will be like, hey, you're very reliable with that content. Versus me, they're like, if I started playing Fall Guys, I'm not going to get thrown out into a Fall Guys algorithm, because they're like, you don't ever play this. Why are we going to give any effort and algorithm to you if we can't rely on you doing this enough? You know what I mean? Versus if you played it every day, they're just like, oh, okay, Fall Guys got a new season, you're in the Fall Guys, go, you know. And they can do that with anything. Like if you're a review channel and a new video comes out video game, and you're going to do a review, your channel is going to get that big spike because you're known for the reviews and whatnot. And so I think having, for me, just the experiment of trying a new channel with very specific long form content gives me that break from writer's block, where I'm like, okay, I want to see what this does, and I got to take it like seriously. So I've already put so much more into this long form video that I have in any editing I've done in months for my other channel. And it was just because of that kind of like thinking it from a just new channel. Okay, this is new stuff. It's not video games. It's not live streaming. It's not sounds. It's not trying to come up with engaging, entertaining ways for chat to be involved. This is something totally different. And it just helped me clear that writer's block. And I edited for so long, and I don't have the voiceover, but I have most of my visuals set up. And it's pretty long, and it literally is just about the scene of Danny on the carpet and how the continuity error of him being one square over or octagon over. And that's and I spent a lot of time showing, you know, why he did it, being a photographer himself. It was
Mm.
just so fun to like do that, focus on things. I was using editing tricks that I'd never used because I was like using a vignette to focus in on a scene in the movie, a still that I made, and I focused the vignette onto a certain path, and I thought that was so cool. I've never done that, and I was like, it looks so legit, and I just was having a blast. So I was really excited about making this new channel, and you know, hopefully if that can do well there, then I'd, you know, be like, okay, well there's my secondary job right there.
Right. Um, awesome, man. With I have some questions with that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So with that being said, like it being like a passion project that seems a little more on the experimental side, then wouldn't it be best if we actually didn't pin your new channel and see like where the algo takes it? Because I've spoken to other content creators and they say that it actually may mess things up because people will go there, they'll sub, but they won't watch.
Yeah. And so that's the thing that I heard, and I'm glad you brought that up because it probably would have been skipped over, but that's a really good point. And I heard someone say this because they said that subbing but not watching actually will, like you said, end up hurting how your channel is looked at by YouTube. Like, cool, you can get these people to hit a button, but watching is really what they're going to put their time into.
I mean, the GOAT Mr. Beast himself said it. YouTube's very simple. They want you to watch, they want you to keep watching, and then they want you to watch another video. So exactly. if people are just going over their stuff, so it might actually be best to not say anything at all.
So yeah, good point. So with that experiment, it would be so much cleaner if I just tried to go off of the because really it's not like I'm going off of a fad or anything, but the talking about The Shining is still very relative today.
Oh, absolutely.
There's still so many people that have their thoughts about it, and if the continuity errors are on
and most people like myself, like I get into a movie kick, dude, and my YouTube recommended is just why this movie is important, why that, you know, it's a lot
things you didn't know about this, 10 things you never noticed about this. I love those ones. I'm like, I never saw that.
Yep.
So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be that guy that, you know, voices over. I've, you know, been told, I think even in your chat, someone was like, this guy's voice is majestic. And I just was like, because my grandpa was a radio DJ, and I never watched him or listened to him be a radio DJ, but I was around him. And so he, you know, I would hear his cadence and how he spoke. And so when people would be like, man, it sounds like you're like a radio DJ, I took that as a huge compliment.
Yeah.
And people tell me that often enough that I'm aware of it. So I was just like, you know, what if I just did voiceover? Like I always like to do impressions, and the Morgan Freeman thing, you can't see my voice. You don't know who's making that impression. And so they even just went with it, was like, what if it really is? And we're playing Call of Duty with Morgan Freeman. So I just was like, you know what? It'd be cool to just try this thing that's not streaming, not live, not colorful, doesn't have all that kind of stuff that, you know, I usually do, and just kind of be more factual and kind of, I find it as a really fun, inspiring type of thing. So yeah, with that, you're totally right. And again, glad you pointed that out, because I was just like, yeah, man, because habit. I know. Yeah, dude, if you want to plug, man, that's so cool. You don't have to, but like definitely obviously helps. But like with this specific thing, and I'm glad you're on board with the thought process of that.
Yes.
Because I want to see what happens. It's part of the knowing the algorithm.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's what you said is in line with what pretty much most of the what I would argue are the successful content creators that I've spoken to, and that's the same advice they would tell me. You know, they'd even tell you to make a brand new email. Like, don't even attach it to Fawkes. Like, literally, like fresh. Yeah.
Like the fact that I have it called Fawkes Flicks.
Like even like that.
I took my icon. I just changed the glasses. They're 3D glasses now.
Okay.
You know, to
like
keep
3D
it in
films,
branding. Like I guess on the opposite side, just to keep it in branding, so that like if I'm like, hey, I also do this. Yeah. Then anyone who's a fan can be like, oh, well, I'm interested in or
like,
vice versa.
And there's plenty of philosophies out there. Like you know,
that's a good point too.
Yeah, I don't even think there's a right or wrong answer, but just I'm kind of like reinforcing the idea that it might actually be best to let the algorithm do its work and kind of play into their game and see how far you can take it. And then obviously later on down the road, maybe you can bring it up, you know.
Of course.
But in terms of who I've personally spoken to so far in these, 16 plus episodes, they'll all tell you exactly that. Like, make
I
a
was
brand new
I was within 20 episodes.
Yeah,
I was there. I was
you
there.
were there. You were there. Yeah, big. It's huge. Yeah.
Dude, I
So,
love what you're doing, by the
thank
way.
you, thank you. I
Good stuff,
appreciate it.
man.
This is awesome.
It's
Yeah, very
definitely
enlightening
something
and
the community needs.
yes, yes, yes. I want to build bridges. That's the point here. Build bridges.
That's great.
Thank you, thank you. So yeah, I was gonna say that, and then I was also gonna say, I'm also gonna be a hypocrite here because I've been told this by a lot of people, but I'm just in it for the experience. So I'm just gonna release whatever I release. Like this 6 days of Fallujah, it is not in on brand with Fall Guys at all. So I'm very interested in how it's gonna go, and if it goes, it goes. Like, you know, to me, like anything that goes over 100 is a success. I've had a video where I played. It was like a playable movie with this weird, goofy French guy who likes to touch his nuts. For some reason, that's my most popular video. So I'm more like,
you're trying to sit here studying it, going, so what do I need to do as a creator?
So do not take me seriously, guys. This is for you if you're a content creator or if you're interested or if you just want to hear it. But fantastic. Me personally, like I'm just down for the ride. But yeah, like I gotta put myself in check as well and say, like, you know what I mean? I'm not exactly the best example because yeah, like you said, what's most in line is like, you know, starting fresh, letting the algo take you for the ride, see where it goes. YouTube's auto feature will do its magic. You'd be surprised who gets recommended your videos, how it pops up. I was actually pleasantly surprised at how many new channels get recommended in my featured page. I don't know if you had the same experience, but I'll be going through my phone, dude, and there'll be like good videos by like people with like not even close to the sub count I have, and I'm like
200 subs.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm going, yeah, and that's what I've been loving lately because I'm like, I'm finding all these like small streamers that are really good, and very refreshing. And you'll look down and you're like almost like rubbing your eyes, like, there's no way it says 150 subs. There's no way.
Yeah.
Especially because either the video has 35,000 views or the person's very personable or whatever. But yeah, I've been getting these lately,
So
last month or so.
It really gives you hope. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it makes you feel like, okay, I didn't lose out on the gold rush. It may still even be young. I mean, all things considered, like you said, like this is just the beginning of what used to be it was called broadcast television. Is that how you said it? What was it? Local?
Public access television.
Public access television. Like
that's like how you get your first, like, oh, I have an idea for this show, and you kind of put it out there, and only 5 people in your town watch it, and but if 20 and then 100 and then whatnot, the TV company is going to see those ratings and be like, yo, we'll go ahead and sign you on an actual thing. And that's how you get out of it. And I always have thought of that kind of thing, like when it comes to exposure, not something that I did this to like be big, because I never did. The thing that I always did this for was to make people laugh or just kind of be able to get through their day without just being like, yeah, I got the same problems. Like when I have people tune in, I want them to just either laugh at me, that's fine, with me, cool, as long as you're leaving just kind of just a little bit happier at the end of the day. That's what I set out to do this for, and for those little interactions, because I was the class clown. I was the guy that if someone said, if the teacher said something, I wasn't disrespectful, but I would add on that punchline that would make people kind of giggle. And so not a bad class clown, but I always love to add those little things. And so I think that is kind of where I was like, when chat says stuff, I can kind of bounce off that. It's really fun, and it keeps it going. One of my favorite classes was debate class. And you could win a debate by being funny.
Yes.
You didn't have to be right.
No.
As long as you got people to be on your side and you got the opponent to stutter or not know what they're trying to say, you win. And I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
And my teacher gave us a heckle speech challenge where people would heckle you while you gave a speech. And I was all about ad-libbing and coming up with, like, the right to bear arms. You want to give bears guns? What are you doing? Like I was all about just doing that on the spot. And this man was so smart that he put me on every heckle team, because he I'd get laughs, and he was a funny guy, and I respect him like crazy. And it was my turn to do my bit. Now you had to research and do an entire speech. I did not do research and I didn't do homework. I was not good in school. Like I just I would try to be as good of a person as I could be. I think that's what kind of got me through that. And I did sports, and it's a kind of a sports town. So like, you got to play Friday.
Yeah.
So, you know, I, you know, never studied or anything. And I was like, I didn't write a speech. I didn't have anything because I knew that someone was going to talk to me. I knew that someone was going to yell stuff at me, and I was just going to bank off that and kind of just spend my 2 minutes doing that. This man was so smart and knew that I was going to do that. He was sitting next to me, and he circled on his notebook who was going to heckle me, because it was always like, you know, this person, this person, this person. He circled everyone. So then when he said, go outside and get your speech ready, I was like, I'm not going to have to say a thing. They're all going to shout at me. They hate me because I ruined their speech. So they're all going to be trying to get me. I go back in there and no one said a word. I stood up there and got so just like, so today my speech is about looking around. No one's saying a thing. And I look over at him in the back corner, and he's just sitting there, and I'm all, you clever. I basically just stood up there with a red face, muttering some words, and I was done. And I was just like, he taught me that like kind of lesson, just in the sense of, he was like, I'm smarter. But I always respected him, and he was always someone that, you know, gave me kind of some confirmation that me being funny and that kind of thing would benefit. And so when I started streaming, that was in the forefront of my mind of like, you know what, I do like to make people either feel better about a situation or just laugh and interact with that. And so I was like, you know what, that's what I'll do it for. The fact that it turned into that you could get money later was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I never thought like, oh, I would get money doing this.
No.
I just was like, dude, having 5 people in chat would be rad. Like that's always what I thought. And I still think.
Yeah.
So when someone's like $10, $5, I'm just like, what? I'm playing. I'm sitting here just playing video games in my living room. But they're obviously like, no, you're not. You're doing more. But you know, that's why I started doing it. If you know, going back to that original, you know, you're editing this, so you just put that with that.
Of course. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm with you, man. Like, it's, I think I saw on Twitter the other day, somebody, they were talking about how Ninja was like talking crap about someone who had like 1,000 viewers, and I was just like, that's a problem to who exactly? I'm sorry.
Oh, you had 1,000 viewers.
I'm just like,
what a low life. 1,000
terrible
live people. You think of a room with 1,000 people in it?
Are you kidding
That's what
me?
someone told me. They were like, I was like, man, I had like 15 people, and they were like, think about you standing in a room and 15 people standing in front of you. I was like, yeah, that's a lot of people. That is a lot of people.
Oh yeah, no, we'd be touching wall to wall in this apartment. Like,
so you had 37 or 47 the other day, and I was just like, think of a room, and he's standing on like a counter, and there's just 47 people just all like, Yugi, hey Yugi, and you're just up there like, I mean, that's kind of what it feels like.
And not only is it even, it's so crazy that they're paying money to have their questions answered first.
Right.
Yugi, take these $2, man. I got a question. Like,
I can't even imagine normally.
Like, I can't even imagine the physical act of taking that. I'd be like, no, keep your money, dude. It's fine. Like, but that's
dude walking up $2 and just waiting silently. You take it, and then he's like, cool. So what are your thoughts on the new game coming out? And you're just like, did you just pay me $2 to tell me you thought?
It's so mind-boggling. Like this, you know, and I imagine, like, in, like you said earlier, like coming from like a working culture, like, you know, actually have lived a little bit of life, like, all you can do is be grateful, man. And like you said, like, to add to your point, like, even if it's 5 people, even if it's just 1, sometimes I've had streams, it's just my mods, man. And you know what? That's cool. Sit there.
It can be some of your best streams when it's just that kind of like one-on-one. You get to really know some people. And then later when you see them in a crowd of 40, you kind of look at them and you're like, what's up, Cape?
Yeah.
Or whoever it is. You're just like, what's up, dude? And they kind of do like an inside thing. And I live for those moments.
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah, like it's nothing short of a blessing. It's nothing short of a it's improved my life in more ways than I could imagine. So I'm super grateful that I started it. Yeah, yeah. And I think I'm almost on a year now. I think I started this month last year. So I don't know the exact date. Yeah, 1 year anniversary almost, and
so
here we
early
are.
on.
I know, right?
Yeah, and you're already here.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
it is. It is. I'm learning so much, and
It's fun to watch.
yeah. It's a huge blessing. Like you watch my earlier streams, there was so much lag. I was complaining about my laptop all the time. These guys funded my new laptop that I'm using to make these videos and make these streams. No more lag.
Dude.
Yeah, yeah. I gave them all roles in the Discord because they, whether if it was $1 or however much they wanted to give, like it's just cool. Yeah. It's.
Because then you feel like you're doing something right.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
If they're like, hey, no, we need to see more. We need to see this. This is something, you know, and I'm glad they did, because I didn't go through those times for your streams. I've been watching you recently, and so I've never seen any problems, and I'm just like, this is some quality stuff. So so shout out to your chat,
for
shout
real,
out to your community for allowing me as a new fan to come in and just experience this. So it's like, shout out to you guys. Nice.
Yeah,
like, that's cool.
The OGs will remember the lag. Yeah, so it's good that you noted that. It's like a different perspective of, like, you know, how you've seen how it comes. I just moved, so because I had to deal with a whole you know, bad living situation, and I'm still, as you can see, like trying to come up with ideas on what to build. I think I'm gonna go with the green screen for now, but I tell you
that never hurts. The green screen's always
the green screen's always a W. But I guess like I can't even begin to fathom it. But I think if I look back on everything, I choke up sometimes, because it's just like I was telling Vita, it's like I really feel like I belong here, and I think you get that as well. Like you feel it, you know what I mean? Like it's something special, man. I don't know how to really properly articulate it, other than like you said, like I guess you got to really remember, you know, these are people. If they were here with you, it'd be a crowded room, it'd be a crowded space, it'd be like a party almost. Like a little home gathering party.
5 or 6 people. That's if 6 people were in my little apartment right here.
Oh my goodness,
it'd be very full feeling.
Yeah.
I feel that every time. Even if I have 2 people, I'm just like, I got 2 people that are spending time. Like that's worth it for me.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I wonder, and I've seen the contrasting perspectives recently when I did the live episode with JP. Like I saw some people in chat. I mean, I don't give them attention, but you know, some people really do just look at it as like it's a business. It's just profitable, and I don't know how you wouldn't. I don't know how to balance that outside of like you shouldn't expect it, I guess, but it's always helpful. It's a blessing that it happens, but like, I guess like what how can I not? I got to choose my words very carefully here, but how could you?
I know.
Yeah, how could you not see that is a good thing to have both? I don't know. I don't get it. You know what I mean? I think you could. I think you could foster a great community and make it profitable. I don't see how that's like some sneaky agenda or like the only purpose. Like I just
no, because as a streamer, I think you're putting out, and I think Jalie said this. You're putting out a product. It is a product. So whether you look at that as a business, giant corporation, or you look at that as the lemonade stand that you open up on the corner of your block, you're selling something.
That's a good way to put it.
Whether it's really, you know, popular and really good, you know, it doesn't matter if you're a corporation or not. Like that it's the product that's being sold, that if people like it, they're going to want to buy it. You're providing something that is wanted. Now, if you're forcing it down people's throats and they don't want it, then there's a problem there.
Yeah.
But like, if you do put something out there and it's just natural, and people are like, I would like to, like you said, fund this. I would like this to go further. I would like to see this without lag. So I personally would like to fund. And that's what, you know, a group of people that you know, have contact with, they all thought that. And that's just so cool. Just like when people will you know, come into chat and be like, oh, they'll remember something from a long time ago. I'm like, that's really cool that you guys like go to, you know, however many streams a day, but you like remember something that I did some Easter egg thing a while ago. And just that connection, you know, and having that support, whether it's monetary or just being there. I think that, like you said, it kind of turns into whether however it started, it will turn into, if it's a good thing and people want it, it turns into a product that's being sold.
Right,
And
right,
that's not,
right.
can't be a negative connotation. And
Yeah,
you're not
yeah,
selling yourself or selling your soul or selling a part of you. You just, people are purchasing what you're able to produce. Is like, I look at it like a show, you
yeah,
know, and so I just try to go on and put a show. And so when I go to do stuff, I don't go, how can I make money? What stunt, what thing can I do that's going to make me money? I think, what is going to be fun for the viewer? And that will often lead to possibly making money through, again, this given media we have, which is streaming on a platform.
yeah, yeah,
So it's kind of a byproduct of having a good original pure thing.
yeah, yeah.
But if you go in it just like, how do I make money? You see those people all the time. They're who we referenced before. They're sitting there with all the bells and whistles, but they're sitting there like this.
Soulless, yeah.
Yeah, and they're just like, yeah, it's this guy, and and then just toxic. And it's like, so you think that people want to watch that and be affected by that and also go along with that attitude all the time? Like, I
Right.
don't really think so. So it's like that whole beat, you know, you get more flies with honey. Like,
Yes.
you know, it's kind of like that if you're looking at it for a product that you want to grow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, money's going to happen if, you know, if it happens. But
Yeah.
if it's something you're trying to get, probably not going to happen.
Right.
And if it does, it's going to happen in a really shallow, non-rewarding way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Very,
what that. Yeah. That would. That's like my my one thing with what Jalie was saying. Like, I like the way she put it, because I challenged her a little bit and I said, could you not have both? Like, could you not start off maybe seeking it to be a job and then foster a community and maybe grow into it? But but the way she explained it was like, yes, but you're limiting yourself to that genre that you've done. It's not really the you, and you're not really being honest and truthful in yourself. 100% valid. Like, for right or wrong or indifferent reasons, let's say, I'm not going to make a World of Warcraft channel and talk about, how was church last night, because it's just like, it's not conducive to what the video's about. So, I can 100% see that side. I don't know. I guess I would have to talk to more people and see like their sides of the coin, because myself, her, you, and a lot of other creators that I spoke to are more on that side of like, we want to foster community first, and if it just so happens to work out that way, then it works out that way. I wonder if there was ever a situation where, and I don't know if you have any examples or anyone of where their sole goal was to like make it here on YouTube and make it a full-time job, and then they ended up with an amazing community that they actually enjoyed. I actually be curious to meet someone like that, because I don't know.
Saying kind of like in the movies when the dude is supposed to like go out with the girl for a challenge and ends up falling in love with her,
right?
And then later she finds out that it was a challenge, and she has to be like, so were you in this for me or not? Like that sort of thing. So like, like at first it was just a challenge, but then I grew to like really be, that kind of effect. I think you're right. I think that could happen. I think someone could see I'm going to go in and I'm going to make a lot of money, just like Mr. Beast, and I'm just going to be super famous and this and that. Go in there, maybe get kind of knocked around a little bit, and then, like you said, kind of all of a sudden those people that come in, hey, I really like your stuff, and they're like, oh, thanks, and then start to just gain these people that are like, I like your stuff, and then go, you know what? It's not about money; it's about you people. I think that definitely would happen.
Yeah. I'd have to meet someone who's
the
like
other
that.
way.
Right. I'd like to.
I'm going to do community and then just go money.
Right. Yeah, I'd like to speak to someone who's felt it that way, because I would imagine, and that's maybe the romantic dreamer side of me coming out, you know what I mean? She had a little bit more of a cynical take on it, which is understandable, because it's not her first rodeo, and she's met other content creators, and she's seen that the majority of the time it feels soulless, because they're just focused on like that new thing, a new shiny thing that the algorithm's gonna like.
She called it copy paste.
Yeah, copy paste. It's not really
that
like,
was well said.
Yeah, it's not personal, and it may just boil down to the type of person that you are at the end of the day. But I'd like to be hopeful. I'd like to,
of course,
like for like, to word it your way, put positivity out there, and I would hope that there are people out there, and I'm sure there are, just haven't met them yet, but
Right.
that started that way, so had a specific purpose on YouTube, but grew to appreciate the community more. At least I would hope. Obviously,
I too would like to meet and hear that story, because I'd be like, cool, like
yeah,
that's cool to hear that it's not just the other way.
yeah, because
You
it's
know?
so easy to just be cynical, so
Yeah,
easy to just be like, yeah, they're all the same, they're all just soulless. But I would like to think that there are some that, to push back
but
on ourselves a little bit,
right.
yeah,
But I think to like to the point of they're all soulless, it just generally they're going to be
yeah,
the in your face ones. You
yeah,
really kind of have to dig deep. So I think that that's where that kind of generalization came from
yeah, yeah.
when speaking about it. But yeah, same thing. I'd love to hear someone just being like, man, I just went into this to get rich and I found the coolest people. Like
Right.
that would be so cool to hear.
Yeah,
And just
yeah.
and then also be as big as XQC or that kind of thing,
Right,
and
right, right.
have that following. So that
Yeah.
that would be kind of cool to talk to if you ever
Mm-hmm.
interview. I'm sure you'll be doing a lot more of these podcasts.
Oh
So
yeah, dude, it's not slowing down anytime soon. I
no,
love it. I love it.
I'm a fan. So
Thank you,
just to
thank you.
like be on it is like what?
Absolutely, yeah,
So,
yeah, man. Yeah, I'm down to talk to anybody. I don't see any problem with it. I took a lot of inspiration from like Lex Fridman. He talks to anyone. He just talked to like the president of Israel.
nice.
Crazy, like, yeah, like not to get too political, but it's like he's not well liked by a lot of people, and he's also praised by a lot of people. It's very polarizing over there, kind of like here, but just to see his attitude and how he says like, I will talk to anyone. I will, he's even like, look, I'm not even the most credible person for this. I might not even have the social skills to do this, but he's willing
But
to
he'll
do
do
it.
it.
And that, yeah, and that's how
That's
I'm trying
cool.
to be, like, for better or worse, wherever this takes me. But I think I look up to a lot of you guys, like a lot of content creators, because I feel like it takes nuts, man. Like I was doing the video today, and I was like, man, I, like I can't imagine the things that people could say. I wonder,
Yeah.
do you ever have that? Like, do you ever? I guess not. Like, how'd you break through that? Let me ask you that, because there's a lot of times I kind of like sit back, especially while I'm editing videos. I think I look at this and I'm like, man, like they're gonna be brutal on me, huh? Like,
Just like with like choices you make editing style, or just
just
the
like putting your opinion out there
okay.
about
Yeah.
anything. That's scary, man. Like about anything. Like even if you say like I like Final Fantasy X, I'm sure there's people out there that will call you.
Right.
You know
And
what I
they'll just be
mean?
like, I hate all Final Fantasies, they're all bad. And
Yeah, like
usually to
just
my response, I guess, is usually just kind of like, okay. Cause I kind of view it as like, well, then that's not in their reality. That's not in the time for them to, everything hits this different time. Like Final Fantasy X hit me at that freshman in high school
mm,
time, and that was like things were changing and it was all kind of crazy, and so that stuck and that was cool. I haven't played any Final Fantasy before or after that, so it's just a game that I played at a time. So if someone says all Final Fantasy is bad, I'd just be like, okay, I'm sure in your reality and your perspective that you focus more on first person shooters, and that's fine. And so my whole life I've watched people have opinions and voice them, some much stronger than others and much louder than others. And from that, I usually suspend my judgment and my opinions on things,
mm,
because everyone else is so quick to give theirs. And
mm,
so I often sit back and people watch and just kind of absorb all that before I make a lot of judgments or opinions. And so that's how I've been able to try to flip it and be like, if someone has this opinion or this whatever, it's coming from it's just their reality and their whatnot. So I usually just kind of like, oh, that's cool. And I usually am indifferent, maybe not
mm.
like, oh, that's awesome, or like, nah, man, totally wrong, totally off the script. Like I just fall in that middle of, okay, I shake my head up and down, like kind of like, okay, cool. And in the ways, like you said, there's always conversation is to be had.
Yeah.
There's always going to be conversation of something that people can talk about almost anything, just like you can do it. It's just like the people who are willing to do it.
Mm,
And so, you know, I often, if someone has a strong opinion or something, I often just go, okay, cool. I quickly try to see why they would think that and come from their side. And then usually for me, that just personally, that allows for my life to be less chaotic and less stressful and less pressured,
Yeah.
and people usually end up being, you know, a little less forceful with their opinions with me in the future after that, and then we can actually have connections just human to human instead of just being this wall of opinions. My dad, I grew up with a very strong saying, and I'll just censor it just because whatever, but he says opinions are like a-holes.
Yeah.
Everyone has them, they all stink, keep them to
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
That's just how I kind of grew up. I do feel like opinions are to you know, you can have them, but I just really, when someone's like, hey, like, what's your opinion, you know, like these people, especially nowadays, just everyone thinks their opinion is so important,
Hmm.
and largely because they have a platform that empowers them to feel like it's important, social media
Hmm.
and that kind of thing. So people are less apt to, I think it's an older kind of feeling, to withhold judgment and suspend judgment and have those opinions that you feel are so important and so right that you've got to just say it at the first front of everyone that you meet. And I feel like that's kind of a social media birthed habit. And I
Yeah.
think that it's older and older habit, that when you were physically around everyone, you didn't just go out saying everything. You might have like had more of a conversation, more of a gathering of
Yeah.
minds back in the day. And I think that throughout time, opinions became like, well, mine actually matters. And it's like, well, technically everyone's matters because everyone's reality is important to themselves. But it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know if that's my own thing, old school thinking of just like, you know, hey,
Yeah.
you know,
It's the old wisdom.
it's
The
the old
Bible
ways.
says, be slow to speak and quick to listen. There's a lot of good wisdom that you said there, and it's true. Like, even just on a ground level, like, you just don't talk the way you talk to people in person the way you would online. You just don't. And
Yeah.
yeah, like, I would hope, unless you've never been checked in your whole life, you just never got corrected, you never
Right.
got in trouble with a teacher, you never got in trouble with your parents, you never got in trouble with a sibling or a friend, and you just got to say whatever the heck you wanted at all points, you typically would watch what you say and try to be a little more considerate of others, for sure, for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It just, I guess, I think you're right, and I think knowing that is why it's difficult for me personally sometimes to kind of. And look, man, I mean, the video I'm making, it's a little more singing praises toward the game, but with some caveats because it's a sensitive subject. Like, no one wants to just talk about war. You know what I mean? That's a
Right.
you got to know how to navigate that. So it's just, yeah, and I'm fearful. I am a lot, like, because I don't want to be painted a certain way. I think is the biggest one for me. So when
Of course.
so that's why. But getting back to what my original point was, is that's why I have a lot of respect now for content creators, and I've been through some crazy stuff in my life, and maybe one day I'll be able to tell my story in its entirety. But I think it's brave, man. I know it sounds goofy. I guess it depends on who you are, right? Like, I don't think it's very brave to be TikTok dancing and making a fool of yourself. I'm just gonna be real, but I think it is brave what, like, some folks like you are doing, like actually putting yourself out there and trying to build a relationship with people. That's crazy, dude. People are
Thank you.
hard to talk to. Like,
Yeah.
you get trauma dumped. Like, somebody may come in and they may not be having the best day, or you may
Yeah.
let them down. That's, to me, right? Like you said earlier, like, to me, that's like a lot of weight, dude. Like, I actually hurt when I hurt. I don't want to hurt you. Like, I don't want to upset
Yeah.
you. I mean, I'm
You
gonna be
know,
real, but I don't want to upset you. You know?
that's a good point. And I think going back to like when you said like what got you into this, personality wise, I grew up not with a ton of kids around me. So
Yeah.
I had a family across from me, and there was two girls. One was my age, one was a little younger, and then a older brother who was like probably 5 6 years older than me. And I would go play at their house all the time. And the I didn't hang out much with the older brother, but I hung out with the two girls. And if they were ever like upset or whatnot, I always found it in my nature just to try to make them laugh, whether it was grabbing like a puppet thing and making some joke or whatnot. I
Mm.
just hated seeing people upset. I hated it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I still do. And I'll do almost anything to make that person out of that situation because I know how that feels. And
Mm.
so when I'm doing the streaming thing and I have someone that comes in that has some problem, and if I can kind of relate to it, I definitely try to address it and guide it in a situation, as I would when I worked at the school district. I worked in a low income school district. I was a paraprofessional. I worked with kids with special needs and kids with 504s and IEPs, and it was basically troubled children. They had, I walked around with a kid one time because he was having trouble, you know, and I just said, like, what's going on, man? Like, just talk to me. And he literally was like, you know, I'm having trouble because my mom did drugs when I was in her tummy, and I was like, you're in first grade. Like, oh my gosh. So like I would hear these things. And so I think like now with streaming and having people come in, I kind of working at that school district, hearing all those things and kind of like talking with them, I kind of am able to handle those situations when they come in. And like you said, where they have this big problem, and you know, it's like a relationship problem or something in life. And it's just like, you know, you have to kind of, I always tell my girlfriend, you got to like mentally prepare for that. You could go on and just have a stellar day and everyone's just having fun and everyone was great and just laughing. And you can have a day where someone comes in and has like a real thing, and you're going to have to deal with that. And if you shrug it off, you shrug it off. But how, you know, how's that going to affect that person? And that's a personal thing, whether you care about that or not. And I tend to care, like you said. So I think it just goes back to that nature of just trying to make, you know, Emma and Rachel laugh if they were upset. So if someone comes up upset in my chat, I'll, you know, give them enough points to make some sound to mess with me. And, you know, I'll be like, oh man, that really messed with me. And they're just like, you know what, man, that was kind of cool. Thank you. Or I'll give them an avatar at the bottom and be like, dude, I have like Ninja Turtles. You like that? Or, you know, Rick, because like some people come in and they're like, no, man, no. And I'm like, I have Rick and Morty. And they're like, can I get Rick? And I'm just like, see, like we can all appreciate it. It just depends on what level. Like,
yeah.
And so, yeah, I always think about those times and the thought of having people and coming in and either saying, hey, you missed the mark on this edit or this idea, or you're off the mark, or, you know, it's going to happen. And it just depends on how it lands on your ear and how it lands, you know, how you process it and how afterward, you know, you either come back at that person with, well, I think you're wrong. And if it's going to be like, well, no, you, or if it's going to be like, hey man, I totally understand, you know how, like, I understand how you could come at it this way, if not knowing this is how I see it, blah blah. And they're like, oh, I didn't really think about that coming from that, and okay, cool, high five, goodbye. And that happens a lot in my stream where they come in and say, well, why this, why that? And I'm like, oh, because of this and this. And they're like, okay, never mind, sorry, I was salty, bye. And I'm just like, that to me is another just like huge win and fun thing to do in stream. We were talking about how streaming is kind of another level of video gaming. You know, if you're doing a video game, it's kind of like adding something. Well, if you're doing whatever, it's almost like a video game. You're fighting off that toxic that most likely is going to come in. It's just whether you're lucky enough to have a community that's going to sit there and just be like, you know, kind of smirk at that person, be like, you're kind of barking up the wrong tree, but like, no one's gonna follow along and go, yeah, this guy's right, you look funny with glasses. Like, no one's gonna follow in on that in this community. They're just gonna, they're either gonna ignore that person or, you know, whatever. But most of the time those people come in, I kind of have a laugh with them. I get them kind of laughing on their end, and then they're like, my bad, dude, like, I'm gonna take off, like, sorry, I was kind of a jerk. And I've had that happen like probably 5 or 6 times that were like significant times where they came in just absolutely trying to tear it apart. They were having a bad day, and I just was like, what's up, dude? Like I know you're having like a bad day, you just want some attention, but you know, it's not going to get me down. No one here is going to get upset. So the best case scenario is you're leaving just cool. And then usually they're like, all right, man, I've never had someone just be real and thank you and bye. So I just love when that happens.
It's a win. It's like a polite way of checking them.
Yeah,
you're a lot better than me because I'm a little more cutthroat with that. But I should do better.
Hey, I mean, don't get me wrong. Those things go into my head, and I just have to, like the filter at school. You know, if Johnny tripped, you know, whatever, and like hurt a kid, I couldn't be like, you Johnny, you little piece of shit. Like, I couldn't, you know, I can think that. And see, when I do that comedically, people are like, whoa, that was like way out of like what you usually say. And I'm like, I know, and that's the point. It's because it's how I check myself and how, you know, like, you can't do that. And so same here. If someone comes in and goes El Bozo, I can't be like, you man, gotcha. Like, I win. But
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you do that. Just in my mind, I'm not able to usually come back in a cutting way. Like I've seen people that can come back and kind of like make the person kind of like slapping the wrist.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you'd be like, hey, knock it off.
Yeah.
And the person
Yeah.
will be like, okay, my bad. Sometimes you got to do that. And so if you have that ability to be like, bing, bing, it's a quicker way to get him to be like, my bad, dude. All right, I'm going to take off. I'll stop being a jerk,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I go a longer way about it. It's just, we get the same result. We just do different things. Same with the raid. You ask
Mhm.
permission. Hey man, it's
Mhm.
cool if I send you some love.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're aware of it. I send the love and just go, hey, just don't say my name, and
Mhm.
they're usually accepting. I've never had
Yeah.
someone really be like, get these bots out of here, all saying individual nice things. They're all fake. Like,
Yeah, mine's is
so.
more like I'll like let's say I'm playing Fall Guys. I'm pretty good at reading while playing, but let's be honest, it's hard. I'm not an iguana. I can't like turn one eye.
Come
You know what I
on,
mean?
man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they'll be like, read last, and I'm like, or they'll say some. I remember that this is a perfect example. Like I'll be playing, and then in the corner of my eye, I'm done the round in Fall Guys, and they'll say like, Yugi's ignoring me. I'm like, dude, you don't see me playing here? Come on, bro.
Like, help
Can you
me
just
out.
can you just tell me what you said? Come on, man. Be fair. You saw me playing. You didn't just see me die there. Come on. Like that's how
No, that's
kind
a
of
big thing.
yeah.
I actually with that
Yeah.
specific thing, the read last, I've literally giggled and been like, guys, I'm about to make read last a profanity. Like I'm about to make that
Yeah.
Autobot you out. Like,
Yeah, like
because
come
it's like
on.
because you look over and what do you catch? Read last, or I just get Fawkes, just my name added.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I'm
Yeah.
like, do you know how ironic it is that if you tied your message to that, I had caught it and read it right there.
Right,
But
right,
you
right.
said read last, and now we're here.
Like
So
guys, we're human.
give me
Please
a
work with
break. Yeah,
us. It's okay.
please,
I
man.
would rather you repeat it multiple times than just be like read last. Like, come on, dude. Like, and again, it comes. I guess that's just how I am. Like, I'm more respect thing, so I'm quick to be like, don't be like that. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Like,
like
I'm a person.
just
Work with me. You see me playing. Just tell me what's going on. You know I'm here for you. You know how I am. Why you gotta talk to me
and
all
they're usually
crazy?
cool. They're
Yeah,
usually
yeah, yeah.
cool in the
Usually they.
sense of like, oh, that makes sense. I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
because you're
So
like, think about it, guys. Are you guys reading a book while you're playing your favorite video game?
no,
No,
no, no.
you're
Half of you
playing the
don't know what a
game.
book is. But
A book.
yeah, yeah. But I think like you said, you get more flies with honey. So there's nothing wrong with that approach, and it's good to have fun with it. I think I think it just comes with the community, which your community, man, I gotta give kudos to them because I'm very observant of these things. And you guys, like every time I'm in a stream, just like you, I'm studying, and I'm gonna tell you something about your community, your mods specifically, and the frequent flyers over there. You guys really feed off each other. You know what I mean? Like it's a very it flows like water. Like you guys match each other's energy. Like especially during the Guitar Hero stream when you were testing it. I don't know if you still have. Do you still have it up?
Yeah, it's blocked in some countries, but
Oh
it's been getting hits up to like today. People still go watch it. So I'm like,
yeah,
maybe I'll play
yeah.
more.
No, it was fire. But what I love is like I was in there like sending positivity, loving the vibes, like having fun, and they're just like copying it, like chilling, like everyone's just like rock on, we're having fun. Yo, I love this song, play this song, and I'm just like wow, like you guys really match each other's energy very well. And I wonder so and this comes with my next question, like was that by design? Did it just happen that way? Like because I'm a huge proponent of like you get what you put out.
Mhm.
Is that what happened
Yeah,
here or did you hand select? Like how did that
I would say a bit of, I guess there's a bit of both, where the latter sounds kind of odd, hand picking, but like
mm-hmm.
if I notice people that are in chat and they're helping out and they're good vibes and they're experiencing the stream how I envision the what I'm putting out, the Easter eggs, the little things that I go out of my way to do to make that fun for them when they point that out and stuff. I'll definitely obviously connect with them because I'm like, oh dude, like you with the noticing my angles and lighting, I was just like, dude, that's huge. That was like huge for me.
Yeah, yeah.
So same thing. And so with the whole being able to mod people, you obviously mod the people you trust, but with the fact that I have sounds that I link with being a mod, and kind of the sense of I trust you guys so much so that I will give you 100 sounds, all that call me old and bald and loud noises and just anything under the sun that either is going to make me laugh or even possibly distract me. I trust you guys to take these. And so like sometimes I will mod someone, or I can actually give someone the sounds without making them a mod. So in a way I use that as a filter system to be like, how can you handle having a little bit of control in power in my chat without the ability to time people out and do all the stuff mods can. And so often I was doing that, and that kind of, and me being like, how do I get mod? Because I want sound. How do you become mod? And so the idea of, well, people that are mods are, they're good vibes, they're relaxed in chat, they're helpful, they're able to handle things. It's not just going to be handed to anyone because you've been here for 50 hours or anything. And so through that, the just conversation about what is expected vibe wise around being echoed so much while I stream and stuff, I think, like you said, putting out, you get back what you put out. So I try to just be really calm and cool, and I don't try to shoot people down if they have opinions or ideas like we talked about earlier. I usually just take it in and either ask them why or just let it be a kind of neutral kind of thing. And it usually rounds away from opinions and then just into having fun and us just laughing about whatever. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think that just kind of having that, reading the room, I think is a big thing. So it's like feeding into someone that comes in with negative energy is just going to propel the negative energy. So I often try to just ignore it quick, which will make that person either just dip, which more and more people that come in and just see like what you see, the positivity and how people aren't saying individual things like, hey Fawkes, this. It's usually like, hey Fawkes, and this and that, or they're talking to themselves. So they come in, and again, if the analogy is streaming is the room and I'm playing games and everyone's talking, we're all just like laughing and kind of like, doing whatever. Someone that comes in is like, you're all dumb and this and that. We're all going to look and be like, okay, dude. Anyway, this, that. And that person goes, hey, I said you were all this is done. I'm leaving. And then they leave. So it kind of bounces off. And then those people like that room. They like the vibe. So they stay. And so I think that, yeah, then I might not have 50 people in chat, but I am really happy with the people I have in chat.
Yeah. You got some very good, because I'm a big proponent of like your mods really do represent you. And you did you really nailed it out the park with them, man. Like I equate going to your streams like a nice warm cup of chocolate. Like just
I have heard that before. That is the coolest thing, dude. You have no idea how like that literally makes my night. Like that's so cool. Like, shout out to the mods. Seriously.
Yeah, for real. Shout out to them. Like it's one of the few streams I can go to and I almost feel like safe. Like I know I'm gonna be okay here. I'm not gonna
like. There's just no tension.
Right.
Like, no one's gonna bring up something that you're like, ooh. It's just gonna be like, haha, Fawkes is bald, and you're just that.
Goofy humor.
Yeah. Just kind of the but like you said, kind of like family warmth, like homemade soup sort of thing. Versus like, going to Taco Bell and here's your tacos, this and that. Okay, next, and this and that. And you're like, oh, I was just in there for a second. And so I look at it a lot like that, like fast food streaming versus like a restaurant where you're trying to, have the customers feel at home versus order number 94, get out of here, like take and go. Thanks for the money.
Yeah. I love it. It feels right at home. And I can't. I can't say that for a lot of streamers. And no offense to those of you who have stopped by. It's just, I think, again, time and time again, to be super real, and some of you are not going to like hearing this, but like your mods aren't really representing who you are, man. I don't know who this message is for. Take it or leave it. If you're listening at this point, you're a goat anyway, but don't take it the wrong way. It's just they're there, and the title of mod can really hold some weight for some people, and they may feel like more, not obligated, but they may feel more responsibility to be there, and they might not be doing the best job. So You know, I do.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, like
in the community, you see it, and I don't want
yes.
to call anyone out, but I'm just like, that's your mod.
Yeah, like if the
they
shoe
just
fits,
said this message.
This is for you. If the shoe fits, some of y'all's mods aren't matching with who you are, and I think that's an injustice. You know, like again, like if I go into a Fawkes stream and I'm saying, hey, what's up, man? I know that I'm gonna be treated a certain way, and if his mods was in there and just saying some just off the wall stuff that you wouldn't expect Fawkes to say, there's a disconnect, and it makes me not want to be in that chat. No offense, again, the shoe fits. It's not everyone. There's a lot of great people out there, but you know, I don't get that vibe from you. Not one bit. Not one bit.
A lot, man.
Yeah.
A whole lot.
Yeah. So
thank you.
Definitely am confident that if anyone were to go to your stream, they'd be treated firm but fair. I think that's the way to put it, you know, in terms of negative behavior. Let's put it that way. Outside of that, it's a vibe. You know what I mean? If you ain't there to start trouble, there's no trouble to be had.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I love it. And yeah, man. So you are looking at doing the more Guitar Hero, because I got to talk about that, man. Because I'll tell you what, dude, like Guitar Hero 3 that Christmas when I got that game, top 10 memories of all time.
Right?
Yeah,
I have the same thing.
And that was one of the few, because I was only Linkin Park. I was big into like rap growing up. Linkin Park was like the gateway band into rock because they had a little bit of rap in.
Right. Mike Shinoda,
Right. Mike Shinoda. Hearing the some of the lyrics and how it like went into the chorus of rock, I was like, okay,
Mr. Han had the mix, the board, and he
yes,
was like,
yes,
like,
you know.
Okay,
I was like, okay, I can dig with this. Then I played Guitar Hero 3, and I was like, okay, rock's the best. I'm sorry, I don't. Matter of fact, I don't apologize for that. Rock is the best genre, and it's a shame how far we've fallen, like from the mainstream. But holy crap. Guitar Hero 3 Christmas, dude, one of the best. Best.
I would love to see you in front of a just leaning forward, just doing star power.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'll never forget. It's Christmas break. Played it religiously. Started on easy. I absolutely sucked, and I still can only do hard and expert on certain songs. But watching you play that and reminding me and watching the soundtracks, I was like, man, like. I have so much to be thankful for to gaming for like opening my eyes to music, and it's a shame because like I don't see that in the current like generation. Right, a lot of them aren't exposed to that, and I wish they were. I wish there was a game that can be like my Guitar Hero 3 on Christmas, you know?
Well, that's why I think the title is actually. I thought a theory was that it's called Guitar Hero because it was the hero that shed light on guitar and music that was dying, this art, you know, because guitar is so fun and it's such a language, and really guitar and any instrument. But what I think specifically with Guitar Hero, it was like a savior for music. Like you said, it was exposing a generation or just people that didn't have any interest in say rock music, and then there's some soul behind this, and not only that, but the guitar work is beautiful. This one, you know, solo just really spoke to me, this and that, and then that what I think echoes for anything. Well, if I like that, why not try country music? Why write that off? I don't like country music, but I'm just saying I would give it a shot after being like, okay, so like I might not have been into like some older, like I love classic rock, but like I'm not going to go listen to the Allman Brothers. I'm not going to go listen to, you know, even Fleetwood Mac. I do like Fleetwood Mac, but I'm not going to go like listen to them right off of the rip.
Yeah.
But when I go on Guitar Hero and all of a sudden I'll play that song, I'm like, you know what? That was a really good band. They are really good. And it made me have this appreciation that I'm like, you know what? There's a lot more in life that's just like this that I'm not giving a chance. So I feel like the Guitar Hero was a joke in the sense that it's saving the people's perception of music and art in that sense. And
it's amazing how scrutinized it was because it wasn't a real guitar. There was a lot of critics, a lot of like,
you're not playing real guitar. I didn't say I was. I'm just having fun.
Right. A lot of
I'm not a real secret agent, but I'm playing 007 in a video game. You're not a real secret agent. I know I'm not.
Right. Like, how far do you want to take this? Yeah, I'm not a professional football player. I'm playing football. Like, what are you
playing Madden? Yeah,
come on,
come at me.
Like, yeah, it's so goofy, the criticism, because they weren't taking into account that exactly. Like, you're exposing. Like, you think, dude, I'm a Hispanic dude from the East Coast. You think I would have heard of Pearl Jam? Are you kidding?
Yeah, you think I'm gonna rock that like in headphones and not only that, but like air guitar to it?
No,
like,
no, I would have
put a controller in my hand and okay,
right.
wait,
now,
hold
now
on.
it changes things, like, none of that. Like, I'm sure I've heard Welcome to the Jungle in movies, but Kiss, no. A lot of these bands that were in that soundtrack, just I would have never heard had not it been for it. And I just wish like people could see that, who were critics of the game, which I don't think any of them exist anymore. We're all older now, so now the people that play Guitar Hero are fans of the game. But man, what a revolution. What a revolution that was. Like, so glad that happened. It's a miracle that it probably might not ever happen again, considering how everything, is so.
It'll be like a virtual reality version where you're on stage and you're probably air guitaring, but it's able to sense where your hands are, like most likely. But
if there's a way we can like balance, because content creation is such a huge thing. That's why me and you talked a little bit on stream or in your stream about Metal Hellsinger. That's why I'm such a fan of it, because you've got some mainstream names making special music that is not copywritten. I can play Metal Hellsinger, I can make a video on it, I can play the whole soundtrack and not get a single copyright strike. And we're talking about System of a Down, freaking Trivium, like serious bands. Right.
Cool.
Right. And I've been listening to the soundtrack ever since. Like,
I didn't know you weren't getting the copyrights. I thought it was
0 copyright strike. Yeah, so you see,
and it's specifically for the game.
Specifically for the games. I think the guy from Trivium.
That's actually really cool,
dude. I know. And I'm like, yo, Trivium's really cool. So I start listening to their main album, and I was like, this guy's like Breaking Benjamin. I love it. Like,
there you go.
Really cool.
But you wouldn't have done it without playing the you wouldn't have ever.
Yeah. There's a serious, and for some reason, if a dev is watching this, there's a serious gold mine just waiting to be had with doing that. With Metal Hellsinger, they tapped into something that's so genius, like the content creator. It's endless promotion. They're very responsive on social media. I talked to them on Twitter a couple times. The fact that they made like custom music for the game using these mainstream artists, it's an easy way for them to promote themselves. It's brilliant. And I'm like, this is the way. You can do something like this. Maybe we can revive Guitar Hero, take out that copyright stuff, and just let content creators just go crazy. You can imagine like collab stream with Fawkes and we're versing each other in Guitar Hero and we don't have to worry about our stuff getting taken down.
Yeah.
Come on. Nice. Man. Right. And we can talk about these bands openly instead of like, and I don't know how YouTube was with your stuff, but obviously we're not in it for the money, but I'm just saying like, you got to tap into that large audience that these mainstream streamers, for example, like these big names can potentially do. A lot of them played, but the only reason why they don't is because there's strikes.
Taken down. Yeah.
They get taken down,
It gets muted or just blocked.
Yeah. Really. So that's why I've been like so amped up about it. I just beat it. So I'll probably shut up about it now, but I'll tell you what.
No, that's cool. You sold it. You really
you
do kind of
like it's something that almost needs to happen. Now I know they're making DLCs and more games, so we'll see. Maybe they'll get more names, considering I guess there's like whoever made that game got some serious connections, because I don't know how they got half the people on there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
you got to be in the industry almost. You're like, hey, I got this game I'm making.
Yeah.
Throw down a track. They're like, yeah, for you, anything.
Like, that's that's what I'm saying. Like, because there's so much,
you.
Bureaucracy involved. Like, I'm surprised somebody wasn't getting greedy and be like, give me that money or something. But if we can evolve our way of thinking and stop looking at it so, which I don't know. I don't know how to balance it, because I totally understand. Like, if you worked on a song and you don't want some goofy goober to just play it and make money off of it. I get that.
Right.
So I don't know how to balance that outside of like you said, like, hey man, you might just making this custom song or like a remix of a song and just letting us put it in this game and being okay with it. I don't know. Yeah, it's a hard sell, I imagine, to some of these artists, because they got to make their money,
Yeah, right. It's their product.
Yeah. Hey Fawkes, you want to make me a whole song and not get paid for it, or at least like a fraction?
Let me get on that. Let me just
or like a fraction of like what you would make. Yeah, I don't know. That's why I think that's why Rock Band survived so well. Like, it did a really good job of the way they monetized those songs, man. And I paid. I had to get those songs. They got me. Now it's just, how are they gonna let us do it? on a stream or on a video. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully they come up with some and they use that formula. So I think the game just came out not too long ago. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that's my story with that type of music.
Yeah, and definitely going to be playing Guitar Hero with that response, you know, especially, you know, Jake coming back on and being like, you're killing it. I'm
crazy.
just like, oh, dude, he pops in every once in a while and it's always just like, hey, dude.
Yeah, I was like, I heard he does that, but he really does that.
Well, because I have had some people that are certified or whatever, and they've come in and they've been chill, and they kind of, you know, take over on the stream for the time because they have the check mark, and they'll bounce out. I'll never see them again. And that's fine. It's whatever it is. Either they're on a slump and they just want to see, like, you know, kind of get the, you know, that oh, you're certified, oh my god, you're verified, like, ooh,
yeah,
you know, I don't know if they want that or whatnot. But with Jake, after the raid, people were like, yeah, he just does that to get his name out. And I'm like, no, this dude put me in a Discord with cool people to collab with, and also personally will DM every once in a while, and how you doing, man? Oh, I'm doing great, thanks, man. Oh, you know, feeling this. And that's really cool because I'm like, this guy actually like cared. Like, it wasn't just the normal verified people that come through and look at me, haha, and then they're gone. This dude like continues to stay in contact. And again, because it was changing, it would change my streaming life, you know, life in general. I was monetized on a platform the next day after this man came to my stream. So the fact that he'll still come by and just show good vibes and DM me, hey man, hope you're doing well, or, you know, just send me a funny picture, it's just like really cool and shows how much of an actual human being he is.
Yeah, and supports you, like, even financially. That, like, I'm telling you, I don't think there's anything you can bad to say about this dude, you know. No, like, he's
funny. I've never, you don't see any of those, you know, cancel Jake thing because he did this or any of that stuff. You never would see a video.
Yeah, he just seems like a guy who's just hanging out and wants to laugh. That's all I got from him.
Make people laugh.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. So I think I would like to be that way when I get there, and it's good to see that you can. Because everyone's so
inspiring. You're like, cool.
Right, like, okay, so I can be that way. Level. I could stay level-headed. I can stay grounded and support those and try to communicate as best I can, despite, you know, what level. Because that's a topic I've been asking a couple streamers. Like, are you ever afraid of the day that you wouldn't be able to have that same, you know, intimate relationship with your OGs or people that you've been with before? But it looks like you can, because he's doing it somehow.
So yeah, totally inspiring. And just shout out to Jake. Definitely.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, I don't know if you got any more time left or you got to go soon. Let me know.
We're definitely pushing into that.
Okay, gotcha.
But not in a bad way. I mean, I've had a blast this entire time.
Thank you.
And you know, so again, you know, thank you for even just having that time to be like, hey, and you know, with the last time, that unfortunate timing, I was like, I hope he doesn't think I'm a flake. Like,
no.
So it was cool that you were just like right back on it. And again, just so happy to be able to be on here, which is something I think is super healthy for the community, what you're doing.
Thank you.
Just as a viewer, as a streamer in the community, and just whatnot, I think what you're doing is very healthy for this type of work and this type of thing. And it just doesn't exist, at least not heavily and not at my knowledge at all, what you're doing. And so I think that when you're like, this is under the 20th episode, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's just so, and you know, you just said coming up to the year, I'm like, dude, like, you have the potential of literally next week just 60,000, you know, just one of these. That's how it is. It could just be like that, you know. So it's just really cool to have been, you know, approached by you and have such warm welcoming from your community when they were just like, this guy seems cool, it's that, we can't wait to see podcast room. That was really encouraging for me to not be like, what am I even doing? Like, it was cool. So big shout out to you and your community.
Thank you,
man.
No, that's, I love when they bring that up, because that shows me they actually care about the podcast. I didn't think they would. There's a lot of kids. Like, I didn't think they want to hear me talk to other streamers. No, but they actually do. They actually, you know, there's a level, there's a subsect of these viewers who actually value this type of stuff, and this is a good opportunity to maybe be a little more grounded. remind everyone we're human, you know, like it's okay.
Again, super healthy.
Thank you.
For everything involved.
Yeah,
viewer, streamer, listener, whatever it is.
Yeah, everybody
super
wins.
Healthy. Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep that up, man.
Absolutely, man. Well, yeah, dude. We'll look forward to talking to you more, man. Doors always open for you, dude. And
I would love to, man.
Yeah.
There's so much we didn't talk about.
Absolutely.
We spoke for like what, 2?
We're running on the almost 3-hour mark, so.
And we didn't even get to like half the subjects I thought we would.
No. But that's good.
Well,
that's
cool, man. Then we'll do a part 2.
Say less. There you go, guys.
There we go, man.
All right, man. Well, hey, dude. Take care. You have a good night. I don't mean to take any more of your time, but it's been a pleasure, dude.
No
Seriously,
worries.
this was
Thank you,
awesome.
man.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I'm psyched to do it next time. Just let me know.
Absolutely. All right, man. You have a good one, dude. We'll talk soon.
You too. Rest well.
Oh, absolutely. You too, brother.